And we should be live right now. Welcome, guys, to the stream. I'm Nona Prince, and I'm joined by two amazing guests, Porush from Long Live Cinema and Ashmita JG from I Just React and Review, and I Overreact to Music. That's the channel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes,
both
that's
are like amazing channels, billions of subscribers
thank you.
already.
Oh, thank you.
And go, guys, check out Long Live Cinema, amazing content.
Yeah,
And
I love
interviews now, podcast interviews. I don't know which one you prefer.
Just trying my best. Let's just say that.
So, guys, welcome. This is a spoiler discussion on Animal, the latest Bollywood film directed by a Telugu filmmaker. If you want to put it like that, technically right. But let us know how's the audio, how's the video, so we can just jump into it because we are late. So we'll jump into it, but let us know how's the audio, how's the video, everything all right, and we'll continue in the chat. Already a banger of a question already in the chat, but we'll get to those questions later, guys. There's a lot to cover up before we get into these theories and what happened and plot details.
Right.
But before that, let me know how's everything. Keshav in the chat, all things cinema podcast. So guys, hoping to join us. We'll be there waiting for you. Some are good.
Yes,
okay,
Keshav.
all good. And guys, do hit that like button. So many people join us through the. Thank you.
I had forgotten. Sorry.
Audio video clear. We got a thumbs up from Pratik also. As well as Rakshit, Abhishek. Okay, Samar. Okay, let's go, guys. Okay, first of all, Iga, get out. Okay, first of all, that dog didn't land. Huh? Okay. I think there's a lot. Porush, you look so confused.
Why?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, of course. Are?
You didn't even react to my joke. Okay.
Are, I also react and review. ऐसा नहीं है.
Okay.
Anyway,
I think before going into the movie and discussing all that, I think there's a bigger debate happening on social media. So to get onto that. I know Ajtechi's review. I don't know about Porush, but one thing I can say about people on this panel, I don't think, unlike people online, I don't think any of you are in support of censorship or that this film should not exist. I want to know your views on that. Just because of various reasons. Like there are different reasons people are not liking. Oh, too much violence. They should not show this kind of movies to a younger audience. And then there's so much misogyny. How can you even watch it? People who are not disliking and hating this movie, they are misogynist. They are just like Sandeep Reddy Vanga. They should be cancelled.
There's too much talk.
There's just 10, 50 amount of things happening. So yeah. So I want to know both of your thoughts.
For me,
on that.
no. In fact, I was really pissed when a film like OMG2 had so many cuts, and after that also it was given an A certification. So I was pissed at that. So I cannot be a hypocrite and say that, a film like Animal should not exist. Every kind of film should exist. And once we start doing that, get into the censorship and banning and all of that, then, people who are, say, in support of a film like Animal and not in support of a certain kind of other film, they will demand censorship of that kind of film. So then it becomes a whole fight of, nahi, tumne meri movie censor ki, ye movie censor ki, to ye wali movie bhi censor karo. So that, that bias always keeps forming. And there are 10,000 reasons that people can give that why this should be banned. But since, we talk about creative freedom, I am not... I'm not the person who will say, we need to censor it, unless and until it's like something which is absolutely like out of line, which is like not done, like a complete propaganda. Then yes, then the CBFC can take a call.
Unless you are making a Serbian film, everything is fine. Yeah.
Porush will like put certain jokes in between, like to lighten the mood.
नहीं, I completely agree with this. कि censorship की बात नहीं है. It's about making the choice of seeing the movie or not. If you don't want to watch a film, don't watch it. Sometimes I also feel that, let's say if you want to watch a film and it has been reviewed negatively by, let's say, your favorite critic.
Yeah.
But if you still want to watch it, if you still want to give it a shot, do it.
Absolutely.
Make your own opinion, and then you can come back to your favorite reviewer and then have more opinions about it. but when it comes to censoring content, ऐसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए. In fact, you know what? On the other hand, I am slightly happy on one aspect that long run times are back. I am someone who kind of advocates long run times, और मैं तो ये कह रहा हूँ कि भाई तुमने 3.5 घंटे की एनिमल देख ली, 3.5 घंटे की किलर्स ऑफ द फ्लावर मून भी देख लो. Give it a chance, right? मैं तो ये कहता हूँ.
Yes.
So when it comes to providing creative liberty, yes, but the audience, of course, it is ultimately their own decision, which is why it is the audience that makes or breaks a movie.
Yeah.
So if the audience doesn't like a film, वो तुरंत reject हो जाएगी. हाँ, वो किसी को फिर justify नहीं करना पड़ेगा कि नहीं ऐसा इसलिए, वो बहुत automatically सब चीजें हो जाएंगी.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I cannot stand for the hypocrisy of you know, on one side you are in support of a film and this is, you know, so narrative I follow, and you know, I want everyone to follow and everyone should watch it, and if something happens against that movie, you know, when the trolls attack that film or the filmmaker, they cannot take it. It's outrageous. And then when something comes out which is not, you know, in your favor or your it doesn't land in your lens of how you see the society and how it should be, suddenly all that you know, freedom of expression and art and all is gone out, and now it should not be made. People liking it, what's wrong with you, this and that, what's impacting the society. Like, you cannot have that, you know, hypocrite mindset. Then you are not a cinephile, you are an actophile. That's what I want to say. You know, I was saving this for this live stream. You are not a cinephile. You are not in for cinema. You are just there to have your the films which have your agenda and your thinking. Only that exists. Others should be not exist. You know, that's not a cinephile. I'm sorry.
You're absolutely right, because a true cinephile is the one who appreciates the art form of storytelling and the art form of movie making.
Yeah.
And मतलब मेरा तो ये definition है, if you are a cinephile, you should watch all kinds of films. And sure, of course, you can have your own choices कि मुझे ये फिल्म अच्छी नहीं लगी और मुझे ये फिल्म अच्छी लगी या फिर मुझे ये फिल्म decent लगी. एक तो आजकल I miss those opinions कि decent है यार ये फिल्म. Nobody calls decent. Everyone says बहुत बेकार है या बहुत ही अच्छी है.
We live in a world of extremes, right?
Yeah.
If it's not extreme, is it not horrible or it's not the best thing ever? It doesn't exist, you know. Also, so one of my tweet went viral in a sense for me personally, which I didn't expect it to, but so someone had, I'll not take the name, don't want to shame anyone. There was a comment saying, I just worry about the women in Sandeep Reddy Vanga's life. And I felt, really, do you want to go that low? That if you think he has shown something like that in his film, that means he ill treats the women around him, and you know, he doesn't, whatever you are implying. Like, some people are like, what's wrong in that? That's not a personal attack. And I'm like, that means you're becoming the same person who goes into, you know, DMs or, you know, on Twitter, attacks an actor, filmmaker, and say vile things about them. Then you become the same thing. What's the difference between you and them? You know? And it just went viral, and there were a lot of, you know, how can you so defend that movie? I also got a DM on Insta, do you support the film? And I try to make the person understand that do you think this film should not exist? Yes, okay. Do you think The Great Indian Kitchen, there'll be someone who thinks that film should not exist? So do you agree? Oh my God, what are you saying? You are such a bad influencer. What you are, you know, saying all these things, you should not be there and all. I'm like, no, you're not getting the point.
Even a film like Biryani, the Malayalam film Biryani, like, that's so shocking. Like, the shock value of the movie is so high. There were a lot of opinions that, oh, these kind of films shouldn't exist and this and that. So you can't censor, you know, the art, like you said, the art of storytelling. And as a cinephile, I completely agree कि हमें सारी movies we should see which conform with our ideologies and do not conform with their ideologies, because that's how your mind will get open to various thoughts and ideas, and that's how you can have like a concrete discussion with the other person. And discussion, not like a fight. Today everything is like a dishum wala scene ho gaya hai pura.
Yeah.
Polite, there is no polite disagreement.
Yeah.
But just want to clarify, guys, we are not against criticism. I wrote in my tweet, you can bash the film, you can, you know, rip it into pieces, you can point out every flaw it has. That's the point. If you think there's a problem with the film and people are not realizing it, write about it, share it, make videos about it. No one is stopping you. But to attack and, Sandeep Reddy Vanga called, a critic fat, so why we cannot do that? Or he said in relationship, you can hit each other, so how you cannot attack him? Like, what? So that means if someone hits someone, so that gives you the right to hit that person. So you are not saying that the act is wrong. You are okay with the act. But when it's against your thought, it's not okay. When it's with your thought, you're fine.
Yeah, I think
That's
the
not how it
whole
works.
point, like the whole discussion, for me, the biggest problem that I saw, that the whole discussion became about the director's ideologies rather than the film in itself. Ki, okay, this is what is okay, good in the film, this is what is bad in the film, this and that. And then you are connecting everything, like literally I have seen so many, thoughts that have been put out, that is connecting every scene with the director. Oh, so Sandeep Reddy Vanga thinks like this, thinks like that, thinks like, अरे यार तुम मूवी को as a movie की तरह discuss करो ना. Like you tell, okay, this is the writing of over here could have been better, this and that, but वो सब has gone out of the window.
Yeah, when Kabir Singh came out, right? Suchaita Tyagi, she became like, her review of it and went viral, and she was on news debates also talking about what's wrong with the film. And what I felt is that even I saw a review and I was kind of like, you didn't even talk about the movie. You just talked about how wrong it is and this and that. You didn't even talk about the filming aspects in any sense, and everyone was waiting for a review of Animal. And this time her review is actually talking about the film and what it can lead to, which is a better format, I would say, but what I think, this time, my personal opinion, that knowing what happened that time, right? People are trying to, use this, situation to make their name. That I'll get the most offended, and I'll get to go on news debates. I'll make a name of myself. That's what I feel, because I'm looking at certain comments. It's like copy paste of stuff. Women bashing. How can you support? I'm like, when did women bashing happen in Animal? Like, have you even seen the movie which you're getting offended on just because people are saying you're just going on this rally?
वो होता है.
भेड़ चाल वाली बात.
I think the makers knew that this would happen.
Oh,
like,
of
I'm
course.
pretty sure they were like, we are ready. Let's just release it. We'll see.
इस बार रश्मिका ने जोक मारा है. We are ready.
Okay, I think a lot of good comments. So I think if we could take one by one, we'll be able to cover a lot of things.
But Nona, you didn't go into the thing which we start the discussion with, like overall opinion on the film. I mean,
I'm sure people will go and check out our reviews. We can go there.
No, but let's take the comments.
Okay.
I think
I thought with the comments, because there are
a
a lot of loaded ones. So I thought if we take one, no, it will like, there will be a lot to discuss. Pratik, I will take your one, which is about the plot detail, which we'll get later. Alpha male versus feminist is nutshell, quote unquote. It's loaded debate. Okay, I'm so offended that a film like Animal doesn't have an animal. It has a lot of mentions of animals. So.
Well, it has a tiger cameo, but not the real tiger.
Monkey, a pig.
And उसमें animal की definition भी बताइए.
Akil says, I don't like censor, but censor is necessary in India because India is a developing country. There are many people in India who think whatever shown on 16 cool and good. Yeah. I think that's why we have a censor board. But if it's an adult film, first of all, not everyone who doesn't understand is, like with kids can go and watch it.
There are kids going to watch this.
Yes,
थिएटर
of
में
course.
मैं गया था, वहां पे 5 साल का बच्चा अंदर आ गया था, and I could not understand. मतलब क्या?
But there's also a debate that online, on streaming, there's so much different kind of content and more, adult than this is available for everyone to watch. It's not that, COVID ke time, all this time people have been exposed to all this. It's not like they are hidden and they are, so unsure of what's around in the world, and they are, very impressionable that, just a drop of blood, and they'll be like, oh my God, what's wrong? Okay. I see many people saying the Zoya arc. Okay, we'll come to that. Animal also doesn't care what song we write. Okay, we'll come to that. Zoya Sandeep told in an interview that anger is a sincere emotion and husband and wife should have the liberty to hate another and cuss off another. Your take. Do you want to
He kabhi
give
sing
your
the time
take?
bola tha na?
Yeah.
In the infamous FC interview.
Yeah.
जिसकी अभी तक रील बन रही है. सही में यार.
क्यों नहीं
But see,
बनेगी?
that is वो उनका thought है. If you ask me, I mean, if when I am angry, my response is like,
Yeah,
मुझे
quiet.
छोड़ दो अकेला.
Yeah.
मैं जा रही हूँ अगले कमरे में अपने. I'll just shut myself out, and then when my headspace is better, फिर मैं आके argument करूँगी. That's how I operate. So I think for me, if I have to comment on that okay, anger should be allowed and this and that, it is a sincere emotion. I completely agree with that part. But how you deal with it is your own maturity. तो अगर उनको लगता है कि hit करना चाहिए तो वो उनको लगता है, मुझे नहीं लगता. Personally, if you ask me, so that's my take.
Paurush?
Yeah, this is always a personal choice. अगर वो ये कह रहे हैं तो he is not anybody who is saying it, right, is not propagating this in the universal sense कि नहीं ऐसा तो होना ही चाहिए. And when he said this कि ऐसा मतलब behave कर सकते हैं वो लोग, so it's not necessary, right, that you have to follow it. And why should you? You have your own mind, you have your own brain to think about. क्यों follow करना है यार?
See, personally, I have never hit anyone in my life till now, thankfully, and I don't think I have anger issues that I will in future. It doesn't matter who the person is, stranger, this, that, or wife, friend, nothing. I don't care. I'll not hit. But again, as they both said, it's between them. If it's one-sided, it's wrong. That's abuse. Right?
Exactly. वो तो मतलब मेरे को तो गुस्सा आता है तो मेरे तो आंखों से आंसू निकल जाते हैं. I don't know. My
it's based on their equation of relationship. I'm not going to comment on that.
It is dependent on both the partners, how they react. Like Ashmita is saying कि वो इस तरह से react करती है, so कोई और किसी और तरीके से react करता है. So yeah, that's it.
Taking film world view to creators' personal life and correlating it. See, there's definitely, I said my review also, every filmmaker has an ideology and they propagate that through their films. If you agree with that ideology, you're like great filmmaker. If you don't, you are like, oh, he's just making propaganda and, showing different wrong things to the society.
Yeah.
That's the core of it. As simple as that. Keshav says people lack open-mindedness and tolerance for the other half who disagrees with them because in this case the grass is not greener on the other side. This is quite
poignant message bhej diya hai. Keshav, why are you not in this?
I'm trying to decode it.
Let me just see.
Let him come.
You take another comment.
We'll make him explain this. Did you guys watch JB's review or watch the clip that's circulating around or OSR review? I saw OSR review. I didn't see. JB did a live, I think, the whole live session, so I didn't watch it.
I haven't watched.
If you can,
either.
Is this something you want to talk about? Everything is fine, but internet has reached every corner, but education hasn't. I don't think our C centers and rural areas are mature enough to take it as a film. This is a very wrong assumption. Like how do you know that they're not able to take? Why do you think that A tier centers and B tier centers people coming are more mature than people from rural areas? Isn't that bias? My question is that.
Unless there is a study which is confirmed.
Unless you know a study and you know about it and yes, they are more impressionable than, I want to ask. Maybe the women bashing guy had a marathon with Animal and Haramkhor. What?
Which is that movie?
Haramkhor is the one with
Nawazuddin.
It's a very low budget. They shot in 18 days.
I have not watched it.
It's with the
I also can't remember the name of the actress.
Sister-in-law of Mirzapur guy.
I
forgot her name. Batata Vada. Insta handle is Batata Vada.
Right. Shweta
Tripathi. She was in. We lost Rashmika Chechi. Lost as in we lost the connection. Okay, what are your thoughts on Manoj Bajpai's clip on? I only shared it. No, not I shared it. Yes, you're back.
Yes, you're back.
But you're fluctuating.
Oh.
Fluctuating. काफी इलेक्ट्रिकल रिस्पॉन्स है.
मैंने अभी अपने मोबाइल डेटा से कनेक्ट किया है.
Okay. What are your
I
thoughts on the Manoj Bajpai clip being shared? Guys, it's Bajpai, not Vajpai. Vajpai was Atal Vajpai.
Which clip?
अरे he's talking about
मिड डे का जो इंटरव्यू है उसकी क्लिप जिसमें he says कि you should not give the pressure.
I'll send it to you.
हाँ वो भेज दो एक बार.
Maybe I've watched it. And even in my review also, like I say that when I criticize the film in the aspect of writing, like I feel that in terms like the story itself had so much potential. When I think about the story, like if just those couple of things would have been tweaked, and I was thinking in myself that this could have been like the next level storytelling, and had so much potential because of the characters. I feel that nuance was missing in the film. That is my only problem. I like show violence, जितना दिखाना है दिखाओ, जो भी मतलब मार काट दिखाना है दिखाओ. I have no issues with that, but there has to be some connection. वो थोड़ा बहुत इधर उधर किया है, but I think it still had great potential because I was like, when the runtime was released, जब मैंने देखा कि 3.5 घंटे की फिल्म है, I was like, wow, okay, we are going to get in depth in the character and this and that, full backstory मिलेगा. Unfortunately, वो हुआ नहीं. That's where I was a little disappointed. That was my biggest letdown there.
Absolutely agreed. I think it's a wasted opportunity. He wasted the runtime because it could have. यार आप फादर सन रिलेशनशिप के ऊपर ही पूरा मार्केटिंग और दुनिया भर का कर रहे हो एंड यू आर ट्रेलर में भी हमें यही दिख रहा है कि वो शुरू करता है उस चीज से एंड देन हाउ इट एंड्स.
I went with that assumption only,
and I'm sure most of the people must have gone with their assumption, including me. मैं तो सोच रहा था भाई मैं तो टूट जाऊंगा अंदर से because there is going to be so much of portrayal, the complexity, the
like
depths.
The trailer is still much more impactful because it promises you so much.
Exactly.
The way the music is used, all of that.
And इन्होंने छोड़ दिया वो. Like they could have, I feel, and this is my opinion, guys, that जो ये toxic nature उसका है, वो इस तरह से भी आप दिखा सकते थे that since his father was never there for him, the neglect has kind of resulted in this person. और बीच बीच में आपने reiterate नहीं किया. Like आपने इतना अच्छा setup किया है शुरुआत में, वो बच्चे को दिखा रहे हैं सब कुछ, बट बीच में खो गया. एंड देन एंडिंग में मैं चाहता था ऐसा ही एंड हो कि देयर इज अ फाइनल कॉन्फ्रंटेशन बिटवीन द फादर एंड सन, जो कि हुआ, बट यार वो 10 मिनट में खत्म हो गया. इट्स लाइक एंड
इट वाज टू लिटिल.
पिताजी भी हमारे जो हैं कपूर साहब, वो भी मान गए विद जस्ट द फैक्ट कि अच्छा एक काम कर, तू बस एक्टिंग कर दे उस एक सीन की और मैं मान जाऊंगा कि हाँ तू सही कह रहा है, और मैं तेरा ही वो जो तूने लेटर में लिखा था ना वो दोबारा से बोलूंगा. यू डोंट हैव द पीपल सिटिंग राइट बिसाइड मी, दे सेड, एंड मैं उस टाइम पे उस चीज पे हंस रहा था, बट नाउ आई रियलाइज दे वर राइट. यार अगर इसको यही करना था ये 1 घंटे पहले कर देता, जब पिताजी को मानना ही, मतलब पहले तो तुम ये कह रहे थे कि अब्बा नहीं मानेंगे, और जब माने तो भाई एकदम फटाक से कि हाँ तू सही कह रहा है, 10 मिनट की बातचीत से ही सब सॉल्व हो गया. भाई हमें चाहिए ही नहीं 3.5 घंटे. अरे यार क्या कर रहे हो यार. देर आर, और ऑल्सो सॉरी मैं थोड़ा भावुक हो रहा हूँ, बट इतना देर आर सो मेनी ओपन एंड loops, emotional loops. Like there is a moment when Anil Kapoor is behaving in a very rude way with his wife. जब वो ऐसे कहता है ना चुप हो जाओ, वो एक छोटा सा मोमेंट है, वो बालकनी में खड़े रहते हैं. आप उसको एक्सप्लोर कर सकते थे यार, कि एक तो निग्लेक्ट फादर का टुवर्ड्स द सन, और जब वो घर पे भी था तो कहीं शायद एक वो इन्फ्लुएंस आ गया बिकॉज वो बाप भी उतना,
because the father was like that also.
Exactly. So because इस film में it feels like he's trying to become the man of the house instead of becoming a son to his father. वो पूरी मिडिल की जो पिक्चर चल रही है हमारी, उसमें यही लग रहा है कि यार मैं तो ये प्रूव करूंगा, आई एम द मैन ऑफ द हाउस एंड आई कैन टेक केयर ऑफ एवरीथिंग, एंड मैं तो अल्फा मेल हूँ, ये हूँ वो हूँ जो भी हूँ, और पापा का बेटा हाँ वो लास्ट में कर लेंगे, ठीक है, वो कोई दिक्कत नहीं, वो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. इट्स लाइक दैट.
That's one of the thing I mentioned in my reviews, that it's a fact that this guy is violent. He's obsessive, he's violent, and the actor is just performing those traits. There's no arc to this. Like if you And that's why I think that's where the Sandeep Reddy Vanga's ideologies are coming in, because what this character believes in, it's not coming from inside the movie's world. It's
From
coming
the
from
story.
it's coming
Yeah.
from his ideology.
Yeah.
This character believes in alpha male. This character believes in, I need to do everything to protect my family. Where is he getting this from? The movie never answers. Anil Kapoor's character is not that. So if you even say take the same story, Anil Kapoor was present, in his life.
Correct.
Nothing changes. He's still violent. He is still that alpha toxic guy.
Right.
So his father's absence has not caused anything to him. Maybe just it has pushed his the animalistic nature he
to
developed.
the extreme.
And I'm not saying that you have to go through trauma to become someone like this. It can happen that something happened. Like, I'm wondering who taught him this idea of alpha male. How did he come up with this? How did he come up with that I need to behave like this to save my family and it doesn't matter? That we are the richest people. How can someone do anything to my sister? Where are you getting all this? Who's like, you get as a kid, you get influence. You are,
I wanted
blank
that
page.
to come from Anil Kapoor. Like, I wanted that to come from Anil Kapoor. And also, when he comes back, when Anil Kapoor gets attacked and he comes back, like, he is like fully violent at that point of time. He's like, मैं तो मतलब वो workers के वहाँ जाके मैं गला काटूंगा. But I would have loved to see one little montage, like 5-minute kai, that in those 8 odd years where he was settled in US, because it gets established that he was very happy and he had a well-settled life there. But मेरे पापा ने कभी मुझे call नहीं किया and all. I would have loved to see that, okay, because of that ignorance, maybe he's trying to connect with the father. Anil Kapoor is not giving him any bhav. And then he's just maybe becoming more and more like that rage is developing more and more inside of him. And when the attack happens, it just comes out fully, like full blast mein he becomes an animal. I would have loved to see some connection. Thoda bahut wahan pe, I think it's really a wasted opportunity. This movie it already is like, because of the acting and performances, the movie, I did not get bored, honestly. मुझे बस मैं देख रही थी, my attention was completely on screen and I was like, क्या acting कर रहे हैं. Every time somebody was on screen, I was like, क्या acting कर रहा है. I love. No, seriously, I was like, but ठीक है, acting कर रहा है. My reaction was exactly like that, but I was like, connection.
Yeah.
The storytelling is
very good line. Very good, I think, explanation by Rakshit Kashyap. Ranbir was influenced by Andrew Tate from US.
वो भी दिखा देते कुछ तो
क्योंकि YouTube पे तो बैन हो गया, वो तो कहीं और से देख लिया उसने. और हाँ, वो मैं वही अश्मिता वही सही चीज कह रही है. एंड मैं भी वही कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि वो जो निग्लेक्ट है उसको आप रीआइटरेट नहीं कर रहे हो. उसको आप it should be there, continuously present in his life.
Yes.
कि हाँ, like you said, और ये बहुत ही cliched trope sound कर रहा होगा to some people, but I think this is one of the best ways to show कि यार मैं कहीं पे भी हूँ, you have never called, you have never asked कि अच्छा कैसे हो, क्या हो. और वो एक और चीज ये कि जो जब वो ये बोलता है कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है, अच्छा, can we keep it English? Okay. So what I was saying is that what if, wait, what happened to Ashmita? Hello?
I think we lost her again.
No, I'm back.
Okay.
I just disconnected from my mobile data because the light is back, so I connected back to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So what I was saying.
Parush was saying, yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm saying this in English. So the thing is that there is this moment when Bobby Deol is going to kill Anil Kapoor and the entire family, while Ranbir is searching for him in his house. Kahan pe? Switzerland, Scotland, wherever. Scotland. So I wanted Bobby Deol to reach there. And when Ranbir Kapoor arrives, he is shattered. And this is something that one of my friends suggested, that what if Bobby Deol took over the entire house and everything, because he also has so many goons and everyone, right? So what if he took over the entire house and he says, now you have to choose between your father and your family. And then when he fights with Bobby Deol, और तब वो गाना आ रहा है कि मैं दुनिया जला दूंगा, मैं ये कर दूंगा, वो कर दूंगा, then it would have made so much more sense. Even मैंने भी उसको यही कहा to my friend when I was talking to him that boss, यहाँ पे आप अनिल कपूर के लिए वो गाना गा रहे हो ना, इतना शर्ट वर्ट उतार के, अनिल कपूर तो है ही नहीं. Where is अनिल कपूर? कहाँ है उस scene में?
His life is not at stake. Like there's no stakes there for us to. I felt that fight is more about them than Anil Kapoor.
Exactly.
Like, the chemistry was so good that I know we have not got no backstory here, but I'm still invested between these two.
Exactly.
They are like,
that was my thing now.
Ranbir first time sees Bobby Deol.
This is my reaction throughout.
No, when Ranbir first time sees Bobby Deol, he's like taken aback, like, oh, there's admiration somewhere. I'm like, dude, I want this. What is this? And you know, when he was beating him down, right? What we saw in the trailer, I'm like, this is not ending here.
No.
I'm like, oh my God, in my head, I'm like, oh, are they gonna kill him? Are they gonna kill Bobby here? And he's gonna, because I'm connecting from dots from the movie. Because now the scene will come where he goes like this, Papa, I'm home. You know, all blood and all. So I'm like, that brain is working. So I'm like, yeah, that's gonna come. And but let's get into the theory part later. But Shelly has a super chat for us. I can't stay, but I'll watch this on rerun. Thank you. This movie seemed to have made for the pure purpose of provocation. It may do well at the box office, but I did not think it was a good film. And that's totally fine. A lot of chat is there. But yeah, you know what I personally didn't...
The scene where Suresh Oberoi is explaining the entire family history, that teen bhai the and one left and this and that, I would have...
Suresh Oberoi to tha na yaar, and Sandeep Reddy Vanga has a Suresh Oberoi Najayaz Aulad universe, I guess. So
I'm sorry if the light, I'm sorry if the electricity here is kya kare. Anyway,
we can hear you. That's good enough.
Yeah, so the scene
not that
where
your face
Suresh
not
Oberoi,
good, but just
Dadaji was explaining ki hum teen bhai the, one left, and then he converted into Islam and stuff. I did not want that in the dialogue because that seemed like such a great story. That why did he leave? Then the son came back and Anil Kapoor said ki हाँ अगर भाई के हैसियत से आता मैं दे भी देता हिस्सा, but you know, so these are all said in dialogues. I would have loved to see it. Like the entire swastik, the entire, you know, swastik steel ka pura jo empire hai, how it's built. And this is the backstory I honestly wanted. That would have introduced Bobby Deol's character, also given him more, I don't know, screen time that way, that okay, he's like out for vengeance because mujhe mera hissa chahiye, you know, the rightful hissa that we should be getting in the swastik steel factory. So I missed opportunity. A lot of plot points are missed opportunities now, but I am looking forward. I'm still looking forward to Animal Park because of Aziz's storyline, and I hope that.
I mean, I'm wondering if nice to see will Animal Park kind of delve more into Bobby's character and their family history. I hope so.
Their family history. I would love to see the entire family
history. It's like Bahubali 2, like how first half is just about catching up on that side, and then we come back to the present, and then we take the story ahead. But I was thinking, what was I going to say? Yeah, about this, where it could have been, right? I actually just wanted it to stay personal and don't go in that guy. And you know, the moment they connected, Bobby Deol actually lost son, whatever, of the family. And I'm like, oh my God, really? And I actually felt, you know, this film was trying to make this father-son relationship more complicated. And neither it exploded and neither it became complicated. Like, it's not very cut to cut, oh, he just wants his father's validation. That's not true, because we saw that.
No.
He doesn't want his father's validation.
There is some for sure.
He wants to prove him that he can be just like his father and save the family, protect the family. And the film, in the idea that it's complex, everyone performs that way, but the writing is not supporting the complexity. There's no connection with the writing or material and the performance. Ranbir is doing his best, what he's told. The direction is really good.
Fabulous.
Direction of making that work is really good, but the writing is not supporting at any point. all these the big machine gun and all these people just falling, it quickly became too much for me. I'm like, okay, now you're just going along with this. And I understood before that, when he first time kills the brother-in-law and no police shows up, that time I understood, okay, this film is a commercial entertainer. Don't put too much logic. Don't expect a psychological
but
character
we
study.
We can still expect, like, some foundation of the relationship from a commercial film also. It's not like
I'm not saying that. I'm saying...
Okay, I was waiting for that machine gun wala scene also.
No,
I was like, okay,
I
had in my mind it'll be an interval block for sure. And I did not mind the length, like it was a 20-minute scene.
No, I'm saying that point I understood it's not going to be a psychological inside understanding of this character. It's all outwards. How much I can destroy, how much I can create violence. It's about that through this character, not going inwards. And like, I like the scene. I like his choice of, after that fight, big showdown between the two, the main scene is between the father and the son. So he kind of came back to the core, but it was too late.
Yep.
It was just too late by the time you came back to the core. And I love that, we cut to him crying first time in the film, like he has lost. And then we zoom out that it's not even his father. That is kind of, that's kind of that a movement. But because you first 3 hours, you did do enough that it doesn't work that well, that moment.
The last 10-15 minutes, in fact, last 20 minutes with the fight with Bobby also was very engaging. I liked it. I liked how it was so raw and like so uncoordinated in a way. Like it was not very stylized, and the camera work also was not like that. Then Ranbir coming in, that Michael Jackson wala whole scene, then the crying scene, all of that. I think the ending was very, very nice. And then the post-credit scene also. That was brutal. I think that is the most brutal scene of the film.
I've never been so scared of a character.
Yeah,
and it's not because of him chopping. It's because of the atmosphere that scene creates. Because we have two beloved characters we have been watching throughout the film. We're gonna know they're gonna die. Then we know he's the brother and he's more ugly, than them. And the way he says to his sister-in-law that I'll marry you, don't worry.
Yeah.
Like just that. And then Zoya's character, and then the disgust she has.
She's pregnant. Yeah.
And we just feel disgusted by his character even before he just slashes them. And then he slashes, and the way he just looks at it just looks like a barbarian.
Even with Ranbir's character, like Ranvijay, I don't think you're supposed to ever, like, at any point kind of sympathize with him. Like, I did not sympathize. I was like, yeah, you sort of got what you wanted. Like, karma bit you because father is now dying of terminal illness. Now what will you do? Now you can only do is what you can
considering
do is cry. Then wife is also leaving. So
considering
I was like, fine,
all the criticism the film got, it's actually a good thing that the film didn't have a scene which makes us sympathize with him. It actually works in the film's favor. That is not sympathizing.
But I don't think like the scenes are also designed in a way that you really don't like want to sympathize with him. You just want to see what the hell is he gonna do next. I was like sitting and thinking, ab kya karega ye? Oh, Keshav is here.
Dekho kaun aaya.
Hello.
So sorry यार, बहुत मुंबई का ट्रैफिक सबको पता ही है.
कोई बात नहीं.
Guys, hit that like button. Keshav has just joined.
Yes.
Let people know he's here. So
it's been a long time.
First, you need to explain your chat. That chat you send. Let me read it again. My biggest takeaway was there's no idea of law enforcement. No, this is not the one. You said this also. No, we'll come to that. People lack open-mindedness and tolerance for the other half who disagree with them because in the case the grass is not greener on the other side. Please explain. कवि क्या कहना चाहता है?
Lyricist ये कहना चाह रहा है कि so see, I'm not talking about the cinephile or the reviewer like you and me, and I'm talking about the social media narrative that's going on, the polarizing viewpoints, the two viewpoints that, and I was listening all throughout before joining, that there are only two halves. या तो बहुत अच्छी लगी है या बहुत बेकार, right? So जिनको बहुत अच्छी लगी है, they are not open to listen to जिनको बहुत बुरी लगी है, and जिनको बहुत बुरी लगी है, they are not ready to listen to जिनको बहुत अच्छी लगी है. So they, as they say, as the quote goes, grass is always greener on the other side. यहाँ पे वैसा नहीं है. Everybody is just so rigid on their own opinion about this film, and in general, this has become this toxic negativity on social media, on Twitter, that you see very often, not just in terms of Animal I'm speaking. In general, what I've been noticing for the last couple of years, especially, even in cricket, you see that, like Rohitians and Viratians. So this kind of thing is seeping through into movies as well now. Shah Rukh versus Salman, and now Sandeep Vanga versus anti-Sandeep. So that was my point, that there is no open-mindedness to listen to the point of why they liked or disliked. That was a
when the Kabir Singh debate happened, right? I was actually happy that it's happening. Why? Because I'm like, someone out there doesn't think what Kabir Singh does in the movie is wrong. It's toxic. And because of this debate, they will at least have an idea that this is not right. Or someone in that kind of relationship, and they're, accepting that behavior as normal, and they suddenly realize, oh, everyone's making fuss about this and this happens in my life. Why is it wrong? And that raises the curiosity, and hopefully it changes things. That's the way I look at it. And that's why this discussion should happen. And that's why you need all kinds of films. Today, if someone is watching Animal and like, oh my God, this is amazing, this guy's character is great. I'm like, he goes on online and like, why is people arguing about his character? What's wrong? And my problem is, in these debates, no one is talking about the issue. Everyone's just, framing it as, oh, this is toxic nonsense, don't watch it. And they're like, no, why that films you watch, this film you cannot, no, we support this film, the best film. Like, no one is having this discussion and debate. They're just fighting on the extremes.
Fighting is all right. I know. No, I feel that in the film also, like the first and the second half, literally, if you tell me that they are directed by two different directors, I will agree. Because there's no flow. Because in the second half, I feel that he's more trying to prove a point and take badla from the critics. I think he shouldn't, like when Sandeep Reddy Vanga is saying, I don't care about the critics, then don't make it obvious in the film. Like, it was very, very obvious that, okay, where Rashmika is slapping Ranbir, I'm sure he would have thought, Kabir Singh mein people criticize me, now I'll make, the female slap Ranbir.
I'll be really honest.
The bra pulling scene was totally unnecessary. Why is he hurting her? She's doing nothing but taking care of the guy.
No, I have a point on that.
Tell.
So I honestly, what I did is I watched the movie first show. And I didn't go on internet because I knew if I go and I read even a word about anything about the film, it will influence me. So I wanted to go without thinking all this. So in my review, you'll not find me say that I actually thought he didn't. What I actually thought is he didn't care that what critics said, and he didn't try to please them. So he didn't try to tame himself, or he just went all out. I don't care what they have said. I'll make what kind of movies I want to make. That I respect him for that. But even a lot of people in the comments are saying, and a lot of people online, like you said, that it feels, a lot of scenes feels like he's trying to answer the critics, or or instigate them and all of that. And I actually, in that scene, what I felt was they established that he's like going through all these medicines and all. He's not in his senses totally. And the doctor says he'll have these issues, so you have to be careful. And then she's talking to the mother like, you never showed up when I was pregnant, and or he didn't even complain. A good scene. He didn't even complain. And what I felt is that moment he's getting, because they said, right, he cannot make out anymore. So I think he was, as a character, the situation he was in, he was getting, what do you call it? Come on.
You're
what's
not
that
getting the word.
He was getting...
frustrated?
No. Yaar, come on.
Hindi mein bata de kaun sa word hai.
नहीं, Nona ने English मना.
He was getting
validation.
No, insecure. He was getting insecure as a man, and because of these medicines, he was because we never see him hurting her in any way before that.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
how I saw that scene is that he's under medicines. He's getting insecure. He because he's going through so many things in the body. And that's why he's doing this. He's trying to irritate her. What did your mother say? Are you finding a new guy, Telugu guy? You don't want me. So, and that, I was like, why is he pulling his hair? And I like that she slapped him. And then scene follows where he's trying to put, like.
Oh, that makes, yeah. Now
so
that when you put it that way, I'm like,
that's
okay,
how
fine.
I saw that
That is a
scene.
good perspective as well.
And maybe.
But I totally think it was like, okay, yaar, क्यों दिखाया? और थोड़ा मेरे को और backstory दिखा दो यार. What is this?
Even I'll be honest, the slap scene I remember from Arjun Reddy, I've not seen Kabir Singh. In Arjun Reddy, there's one slap scene when he's coming out of Preeti's house.
Yeah.
And their house, like the parents just get out. Like he's angry, and he's angry that she's not standing up for herself. So he's like, I'm leaving. If you cannot stand up for yourself, I don't want to talk to you. And she's trying to hold him, like, don't, please listen to me, please. And he's getting irritated and he pushes her and slaps her. That's the scene I remember. If there's any other scene of slapping, I don't know. But in the context of the scene, the slap is very different. It's not like he likes to hit women. He wants to show power that you are no one, I am the man. That's not the context of the slap that really happens in the movie. What I remember, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's wrong. I would never slap any woman, whatever the case is. But in that situation, in the character, what he is, what's happening, that's what led to the slap. And in the movie later, at the end, she also slaps him. But the idea here is they are so much.
Forgot. I can't recall only.
They're so much in love that this self-respect of slapping each other is not like, oh, how can you slap me? How dare you? It's not that. They don't care. They are so much in love that these things don't really matter to them. Because it's not coming out of perversion. The slap is not coming out of perversion from each other. It's not coming out of the wrong place. Now, I put out on internet, I'm sure I'm going to get cancelled for saying all this. But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But you can put out your opinion. I mean, it's like we don't have to agree with your opinion, but you can put it out.
What was the point?
No, the point is like Vanga trying to kind of, like you said that he went all out not caring about the critics, but from what I was seeing,
I couldn't accept the last shot of the film. Except that I didn't feel he was trying to directly, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I missed it. I'm not sure.
In fact, the post-credit scene, I personally thought that it is not for the critics. I thought that sets up Aziz's character so well. I was thinking from the character's perspective.
The last
black
shot.
And white.
Oh, the black and white one.
Yeah.
Oh, that is for sure for the critics.
Should we take the chats?
Yeah.
Okay,
you should also take my point of view.
On
the movie? Was I?
Actually, no. We started with the chat only. Like,
so because there's some loaded questions coming in, I thought if we take one question, there's a lot we can discuss. Okay, Keshav, this is for you. Akil says Ranbir cheated Rashmika and Rashmika wanted a divorce. Then why did she kiss him near the bed?
I know the answer.
Ashmita, I didn't ask you.
Yes,
Keshav, answer.
That's why I raised my hand.
You are always late to class. What is this? Answer now. Were you paying attention?
I'm raising my hand.
It just, that whole thing put me off so much because, when Ranbir earlier in the scene, like literally sees in her eyes and tells her that, I'm never going to cheat on you. And it had so much of honesty in the eyes when he said that to her. And, you felt like, okay, ये 100 पाप कर लेगा लेकिन एटलीस्ट लॉयल रहेगा इसके साथ. लेकिन at the end when he cheats on her and the whole Tripti Dimri angle and then how easily he justifies it that I did this for that reason and you will never cheat on me, I know that, and all that. So that felt very convenient, to be honest, and then for her to kiss back and just to forget everything in a spur, like that whole stretch where she was trolled in the trailer, that whole scene was actually, she did well in that scene if you
very well
in the movie.
Yeah,
very well.
Yeah, and that so the way it was going, the whole scene, so that sort of told me that okay, at least there are some repercussions that he has to go through. If there is no law enforcement outside, at least at home he has to suffer something. That she is now getting back at him. And then, जैसे सख्त लौंडे पिघलते हैं यहाँ पे ये पिघल गई. And even at the end, like, again when she's leaving, the son runs back and she comes out, and then the look on her face, that was again bizarre. Like, I thought, okay, chalo, kam se kam end mein ye chhod ke ja rahi hai. And then the son comes and there is no mention of the daughter who's in the car. He also has one more kid.
But yeah, I don't think that the kid is too small to understand.
नहीं, इसका actually एक logic हो सकता है जो लोग फिर कहेंगे this is cinema कि he always wanted to be मतलब he could not be a son to his father, but he could be a father to his son. So
but there's a scene also, right? There's a scene where the kid says, "You are my hero."
Yeah,
and that never translates to anything in a sense.
No, that translated to the fact that Sandeep Reddy Vanga himself was in that scene. वो उसको बोलता है, "You are the director," and then he says, "No, you are the hero." So it felt like it's a throwback to himself.
There's a simpler explanation for that scene. It was breakup sex.
Yeah, even I thought that. Because the way she closes the door. Because after that the climax happens.
That was the final.
After the climax, she wants to talk to him when he returns, and he says, "No, I have to talk to my father first." So she wanted to, like, that's, I think, she said, "I want it and it's over," and that thing was the breakup sex.
See, this is why the whole thing was disappointing, because there is no consequences for any of his actions in the movie throughout. Like, so yesterday I put a little, textual review on my Instagram, and the first thought that came to my mind was, like, even in Breaking Bad, Walter White does everything to protect his family.
Spoilers.
And there is so much backlash and consequences for what he does, or for his sins. And at the end, his family also is not with him at after a point. They are with him until a point, until an extent, and once his brother-in-law is killed, they just pull off. Literally, they don't have anything to do with him. And here he's killing the brother-in-law. There is no law enforcement. There is no so all that. I went with a lot of expectations because Ranbir Kapoor is my favorite actor, and every time I go for his movies, I know that there will be some substance, because an actor like him will not be wasted on an average story, or he won't choose a film which lacks depth or substance. But here, such a talent was wasted with such poor, edit and such lethargic writing, because the biggest thing which I felt it lacked was there's no explanation for why Anil Kapoor is like that, why he keeps slapping his son. Like, they should have taken us to, they should have given any sort of backstory to Anil's youth or childhood, but made him like that. And so...
Yeah, because Anil's dad is fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, Suresh Oberai's character is so...
No, but even Anil is not that bad, right? Like, when he slapped... the thing he slapped him for, even my father would. Even I would to my son for what he did.
Well, we honestly don't know Anil Kapoor's full personality, क्योंकि उसमें focus ही नहीं हुआ है. हमें पता ही नहीं है कि वो actually कैसा इंसान है.
Film was trying to be meta, right? He was absent from his son's life. He was absent from the film also.
वही हुआ है.
So this is like, how Interstellar का core है father daughter. He's absent from her life.
But what if father goes to space? Then
But there's still chance for redemption in terms of the nuances in the character writing.
In Animal Story.
In the second one, in Animal Park, where I would love that we get more and more context about the characters. Especially, chalo theek hai, Balbir Singh family, we don't know anything about them too much. Like, we know, but not too much. But at least Aziz's side of story and the whole family, I feel that we should get more context, because it's going to be, if you saw the Animal Park like the title card is full red.
Yeah.
So we can expect double violence.
It's very interesting that Aziz's character is black. It's the worst character, right, in the movie.
Yeah.
And we all, as well as people online who has seen the movie, they're like, "Oh my God, such an amazing guy. Oh my God, so violent, this and that." But a grayer character in the movie is getting more criticism than a black character. That's the irony, right?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Character who's supposed to be gray and there's so much happening around him, but we are feeling so
that's because that grayness factor where
it's the
why
black.
he is so, it's that
it's lacking,
context is lacking a little bit, not a little bit, a lot. We just get a little bit of context. We don't get too much context. That's why, because here we know, okay, Aziz is a butcher. That has been established by Zoya. Like, why he's a butcher, I hope that
it's
gets
easier to
established.
digest.
Yeah, it's easy to digest. Why he's like that, why he has this butcher-like nature, that hopefully we will get those answers in Animal Park. So now it's more easy to digest Aziz's character at this point.
Let me ask you a question to everybody. Like, by the end, when Aziz comes, and we have seen 3.5 hours of bloodshed and violence.
Yeah.
And after that, once he does his whole thing, the shock value was over for me long back. Like, all that blood just didn't work for me at all, because, it's like, जब आपको एनेस्थीसिया चढ़ता है तो नम हो जाते हो, कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता आपके ऊपर, आपके सिस्टम पे. तो वो एंड में जो उसने पूरा सब किया ना, सो लाइक विक्रम के एंड में जब रोलेक्स की एंट्री होती है, सो दैट हैड एन इम्पैक्ट बिकॉज आई वाज नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट, एंड that bloodshed had some shock value. But in this, we had already seen so much of blood that this excess blood at the end just didn't really excite me at all.
You are absolutely right. और जो ये सूर्या का एग्जांपल दिया है रोलेक्स वाले का, look at the way he is introduced. Look at the way the violence is staged. It is a very different, मतलब लोकेश तो खैर है ही यार. I think he's one of the best directors when it comes to character introductions these days in cinema.
And Rolex is indirectly present throughout the film.
His presence is always there. Ki koi to hai, like that. He's always there in the film. But yeah, the bloodshed. I don't know. I
wouldn't say it shook me, but I think it had an impact. Like, at least I got somewhat impacted. I was like, oh, okay, Aziz is more brutal than Vijay. So now it's going to be a clash like never before. I thought that came in my mind.
I think I'm the only one. I think like a lot of people compared this scene with the Rolex scene. Very similar in some sense. But I think I'm one of the few people who didn't actually like Rolex introduction scene. Because the thematically, the person he's killing, he's just a goon. So why should I be getting scared? Oh my God, this guy. If he had killed a police officer in front of these people and doesn't care, that's, oh my God, he can do that and get out of it. That's, oh my God, kind of moment. Not just, oh, one guy didn't say sir to him, just kills him. Call me sir. And then Vikram is present there. So he already infiltrated his gang. So I'm like, it doesn't give me, oh my God, Rolex is, how can you touch him? He's such an insane character. We have not seen anything like this. I felt Vijay Sethupathi, what he did before, he was sitting in front of a police inspector and he's saying, I don't really give a care about you. I'll save this minister because I need him. Because Rolex is going to kill him. Like, he's more, powerful and he doesn't care about the authorities because he's scared of Rolex. And Rolex just kills a goon because he didn't call him sir. And that should be, oh my God, no, it didn't work for me.
So even like Bobby's introduction scene, he kills that guy only because he brings the bad news.
Yeah.
So these kind of things, this is like just a way to introduce the antagonist in a way.
No, I'm saying, because see, for Rolex, there's a context of what has happened before that in the film. So if you want to, you're setting a character introduction at the end of the movie when we have seen the whole movie. So it has to be something bigger, that what is he going to do that make you going to think like, oh my God, how are you going to defeat him? If you were killing just a goon who has not called you a sir, who's just he's not even a goon which our heroes have been trying to defeat the whole movie. It's like you're saving, it's like a plot armor to those characters. You don't want to kill those actors. They're great actors. You want them to see in other films. So you're just killing a random dude and you want me to think, oh, see what a badass this is. It doesn't give you just like in what this did, right? That's why this scene worked better for me in Animal, because he's killing a character we have seen throughout the film. We love him. And we know when our character gets to know that his friend has died like this, what is going to cause him? The pain is going to cause it.
So because already they're his brothers, so
you have set up the Havania, this character ki, that he's
it's like all bhaiyo ka fight in the next film, Animal Park.
And that they made it so convenient by the fact that they literally said कि सबने 3-4 शादियां कर रखी हैं, 8 बच्चे हैं, तो कोई भी आ सकता है कल को, you know.
So many characters to explore.
So yeah,
now.
so many. It's like, you know, how Gangs of Wasseypur had these many characters, you know, एक एक करके सबका tangent and all those people. And one more thing, like, did you feel that they're kind of so like with Rolex we don't know what's gonna happen, but here with Aziz, like जो पहला scene है movie का where we see old Ranvijay. So now you know that even in the second half, you know, if Ranvijay is alive after these many years, and if in Animal Park it's gonna be Aziz versus Ranvijay, so Aziz will anyway lose, right?
I think the ending scene, that's my theory. I think that's Aziz.
Yeah, they can play
That's
on
my
that.
theory.
They can play
That
on
is
that.
Aziz.
They can definitely play
Because-
on
But,
that.
so I saw iska Jamie ka jo, if you saw the video, so he says that the whole monkey story which he narrates in the first scene when he's old, so like according to him, that monkey story only Ranvijay knows, because, you know, he also uses that story in the brother-in-law, that whole spat. So I don't know, like, you know, there can be multiple theories.
See,
There can be. I mean, if I'm hoping that Aziz's character is designed in a way that we know that Ranvijay can lose anytime. I'm just hoping that okay, he's like so formidable, and maybe he's able to like infiltrate Swastik Steel that way, because it'll make it for like, if we know in the end that is Aziz, like if that is the revelation, I would really like that. Okay, that Ranvijay actually dies and Aziz is like the new, like Aziz has lived as Ranvijay. That'll be something dope. I don't know. Let's see.
Well, I just hope some consequences has to be in the Animal Park, at least for Ranvijay, if not in this one.
You know, so when that scene happens, right, the post-credit scene, we see him walking with the blades, and we see Bobby Deol's partner, who was translating him. And I actually thought Ranvijay has entered. He's here to kill the babies, and so, you know, no more villains in the future.
Initially, I also thought that, but
And-
then I saw the butcher thing, and I was like,
No, then I saw the two people tied up. And then he looks so different, his haircut different. I'm like, oh no. And then they say that there's a line, overdub line, that, you know, they were two brothers and all of that. So
yeah,
And she gives birth to twins, right?
twins.
And even she's
Bobby's
pregnant.
wife, third wife. And
even
now Zoya
Zoya
is
is
also
pregnant,
pregnant. So we have a lot of characters. I don't know what is going to be the time skip in Animal Park, but we'll have to wait and watch.
Okay, plastic surgery was done without the presence of original Ranbir. Like the whole plot, that plot is like, I don't want to put logic into that. I think you can do plastic surgery without a
And
real person.
this is the least of concerns. Like,
Yeah.
this is
वो तो photo से भी होता है.
See, once we went into this, you know, brother fighting and plastic surgery, and I think this film went into direction not what I was expecting, but I'm okay with it. It was the way
I'm
he
also
wanted to
fine
do.
with it.
It's not what I wanted
I mean,
from
we had
the
Anil
trailer.
Kapoor body double, so I mean,
Yeah,
plastic
so-
surgery is
like plastic surgery is still believable.
I'd
but there
forgotten
are
that
more,
part, you know. By the time we came to the credit scene, I forgot that happened in the movie. And then I'm like, oh, that also was a plot point. Okay.
and the young Ranbir in his childhood, there is a foreshadowing there when she says ki papa ka kaun bana lenge, but he said body double is easier to be done, and then, you know, baad mein
Then it
you know,
happens, yeah.
you know what Zoya tells the story? That what is their plan? That they'll, you know, make a
Kill
body double of
everybody.
you. He'll go kill everyone, and they'll be just left thinking, why did their own
Why
person
did Vijay kill? Yeah.
That narrative is more interesting
That
and, you
is
know,
so-
exciting
that's
Yeah.
than what actually follows up.
that and if they would have followed that route, I mean, cinematically it would
so
have
dark.
it is borderline Sri Ram Raghavan Badlapur zone.
People blasted plastic surgery in war, right? Why not now?
Someone said
No, that
after-
was... See, that was also a plot point there, but it feels more... it's not like it doesn't work here, but like a too wild theory in a setup kind of world we live in.
I think it can still work because, I mean, technically they are all like brothers. So some genetic similarities is still there. मतलब I can still believe कि
See,
चलो
in
ये और
War, there was one thing. After rewatching the film, I understood this point that after the plastic surgery takes place, Hrithik never meets Tiger's character. 2 years he never meets him, and he also has scars on his face of the injuries. So no one maybe connects the dot that he's behaving differently because he went to a traumatic incident, and no one is thinking, oh, maybe maybe it's not that perfect because it's the same actor. In our kind of visually, it looks similar. They are same people, but maybe not that.
And
well done.
when they introduced the body double of Anil Kapoor in the first time, he doesn't look identical. He looks a little different. But by the time they get ready for him to send out, then he's exactly the same. So again, I thought maybe
no. That was before the plastic surgery happened. So he brought him to study Anil Kapoor.
Oh, I thought it was.
So they brought a body which matches his father's body. And then he was there to study his movements, how he walks.
Okay, I thought it was post-plastic surgery, so he's very, very much lookalike, but not.
So the plastic surgery reveal was, when even Anil Kapoor
the son-in-law comes in.
Yeah, so that was actually the reveal
right.
It's actually the body double. That plot just felt out of place.
So on that, when especially the daughters, when they see the father coming out, and there is a dead body as well.
Yeah.
The reaction should have been more hysterical, right? It was just, just okay. Oh, he's alive. Okay, and they hug him. So it was like the shock value for them should have been more there instead of audience.
Someone says, I like the way they utilize the voidable concept. Okay. The love bite color and the Royal Royce was bizarre. That whole sequence was just...
The whole Zoya subplot is like...
What Keshav said, right, about him cheating, I felt that point was just to make that when it comes between his father and anyone else, he'll choose his father. That he's ready to cheat even on his wife just to save his father. But I think on the paper it works, saying this works really well. when you see on screen,
you'll have to connect the dots like to so many things.
Yeah.
I really, for me, like the main crux of Ranbir and Anil Kapoor's relationship, if you had just spent more time just building that relationship, I think a lot of the film would make even more sense. Now, of course, the film is, like I said, I did not get bored at all with 3.5 runtime, like 3.5 hour runtime, because the performances, I'm like literally looking at the screen and just admiring the performances. I'm like, because Ranbir Kapoor in this film, he just blew my mind away. So good. Absolutely phenomenal the way he performed. Just that you should give some context to the character's origin. That was
the biggest advantage, or should I say the biggest compliment that I have is I did not feel that it's a 3.5 hour film. It was a breeze, like the pacing and everything. It was
even I didn't feel the
even I didn't feel it.
Screenplay was pretty slick, but I had problems with editing because at times there were cuts which didn't make any sense. So like the one where the plane is about to crash and suddenly they
match cut करके उधर
and then the at the end also, like the big showdown between Anil Kapoor and Ranbir Kapoor, and suddenly it cuts to him hugging Shakti Kapoor. So it kind of leaves
that was intentional, right?
No,
because you think
we think that
cut
he's
happens, you think that he's hugging the father and breaking down,
Yeah.
and then we cut out zoom because it's not edited, it's like shot that way. He zooms out
transition
slowly.
was nice. What I'm saying is the cut was so
the scene,
abrupt.
cut to the scene,
Because
basically, to that scene.
that was going to be the peak of the showdown was the peak, right? Because this is where you get all the answers and everything. Yeah. And it leaves you wanting for more, which is a good thing, by the way. Like, as they say, always leave audience wanting for more. But then so many things were left unanswered. So
no, I get your point, but
we should take this question.
Honestly, that I like that because I think that's the Vangaism of his filmmaking. See, the thing is, whatever you want to say about him, about his films and ideology, he's a gifted filmmaker. Why you don't feel the 3 hours? Because he knows how to construct a scene, how the characters move, how they're talking, how you create drama. And the thing is, what we all went in, what he promised, he doesn't deliver on that. And of course, as I said in my review, there are things said in the movie which are not coming from the character, but some outside, which I don't agree to. You
The
know,
way
Apart
he's
from-
questioning religion as well. The way he's questioning, like वो जो स्वामी जी के साथ scene है, वो जिस तरह church में behave कर रहा है. So that's not Ranbir's character. That's actually Sandeep Reddy Vanga.
Yeah.
Imbibing his own, kind of trying to put his own questions from his real life into the film.
I think
There are many more interesting.
he's a fearless director. Like, you don't have many of
he doesn't care.
this breed right now. And what I liked was the last scene. I think it was definitely targeted at the critics, right?
Yeah.
I think we talked about that, no?
Yeah, we did.
The monkey joke.
The monkey joke.
Vanga
But as
is,
like Akil asks, like, why is the film working with audience? Is it because it's entertaining and engaging, or is it because people agree with Vanga's ideology? I would say the former. It is entertaining. It really engages you. Like 3.5 hours just to keep your attention on the screen.
It's also edgy, right? It's cool to be edgy. That's a thing, right? It's cool to be edgy. It's like, oh, so much violence. Yes, man, we are young, we are new gen, we can take it.
I have a friend who said the second half should have even more violence. He said he thought it lacked violence in the second half.
There are a lot of comments about the violence in the film, and we don't get such violence. I think that's one thing. I'm not a fan of. I don't prefer such films, violent films. And this film, thinking about it, and some people told me, dude, it's actually not violent. What are you talking? I've seen more violent films. I'm like, I don't think it's about the depiction of gore and all in the film. It's about where it's coming from and who is doing it.
Yeah.
The drama of it, what this character is and what he's doing and what it's leading to and what this character is doing, and we are not used to it. It's like a Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, but with violence.
But
it's like killing, and I'll destroy the world, I'll kill people, and it's just there's no it's that animalistic nature that we like. I'll talk about one scene for just 1 second.
Sure.
That one scene in the beginning, right, when he goes to the school with the sister, that feels cool. That scene, because if someone did that to my sister or any woman I know, in my head where there's no rules, I would have done that. But in real life, of course, I wouldn't, because I know there are consequences. You cannot do that. It's wrong. You go to police. That's the thing. But when he does it, I'm like, yes, man, show these people. They deserve this. That the animalistic thing that comes out when you see is, a scene in Pink where they kidnap Taapsee in the car. You feel disgusted and you just want to kill these people, right? It's just that in life, we live in a civil world, and then that's the only way we can coexist. And we have that sense. This character doesn't. And when that gets applause, it's just that people's animalistic impulses, which they have to control, someone on screen has done it and they feel relieved. Yes, man, at least someone did it. And I think that's what Vanga tries to do in the film. He wants to things he's not doing in the world. He sees, I find that problematic. Why men cannot do this? Why talk about pubic hair, this and that. It's all coming from his own life. He's incorporating that in his cinema. That's the only problem, is that it's not going with the character. He's going with his own thinking. And people can have their views on that. I have my own.
Like you talked about the college scene. If you take, say, Jawan, also the hospital scene. I mean, you shoot the minister, right? Like that is also a form of extremism, like to put the point across. So why? Okay, that was accepted. Now this you can't accept.
Yeah, because then you show, right? He killed a woman in burqa. If she had really killed it, there were people that had not accepted it. Yeah. He's not the hero, but in that movie, you have to show him as a hero. Whereas in this film, he is not the hero.
No, but one more difference was that in Jawan there were law enforcement as well. Here there is no
law enforcement. Even I say that in my review, that I would have loved to see some involvement of law enforcement, that they are being useless. At
least in Scotland show us something.
Like when Bobby is killing everyone on the house, मैं ये कह रहा हूँ, भाई कहाँ गए सब? क्या छुट्टी है क्या?
हाउस छोड़ो, जब वो 2 घंटे अगर वो रनवे पे लड़ रहे हैं, तो पूरी स्कॉटलैंड की पुलिस को कुछ आइडिया नहीं है क्या हो रहा है
यार. पुलिस तो यार when he killed his brother-in-law, like पुलिस नहीं है इधर.
नहीं, पुलिस वालों को बोल दिया ना कि यहाँ शूटिंग चल रही है तो आप मत आओ. हाँ. Or speaking of the violence, I think, to be very honest, I think I am one of those people who feel that there should have been more violence. Like when you said that, I'll show them what a violent film is and all that. So I believe
I think there was good enough violence.
There was good enough
already
violence.
people are raging.
नहीं
और होता तो क्या होता?
नहीं, but then again, at the same time, I'm also thinking that maybe this is the extent of showing violence in Indian cinema right now. Like, for example, the only violent film, true blue
Rocky?
violent film that I can think of, no, it's Gangs of Wasseypur. Gangs of Wasseypur is a pretty violent film for that period especially.
Yeah.
Right?
So do you think that is more violent than this?
No, I'm saying that right now, when it comes to Animal, when it comes to showing violence in Animal, maybe this is the extent to which we can show violence right now. Like I've always believed ki how liberal has censor board become when it comes to showing violence. Maybe Animal is that extent कि अच्छा हम ना ऐसे 3 या 4 scenes ही दिखा सकते हैं जिसमें let's say someone is doing, like I'm not going to name, maybe this video gets demonetized, but yeah,
true YouTuber.
क्या करे, सीख गए. So but maybe this is the extent of showing violence, and of course I'm not saying that there is no violence at all. Of course there is a considerable amount of violence and this is a violent film. So yes, I think this is the extent of showing.
Don't you think violence or even more violence would make more sense if they have enough reasoning behind it? So like Wasseypur, you gave the example. Every character had such layered backstory that you could understand where the violence is coming from. Okay, here, just because his father didn't celebrate a couple of birthdays with him doesn't justify him killing him.
Which is why we all are discussing the same thing. That
that was the main discussion initially.
There should have been so much more.
See, violence is not just gun and blood and all. It's violence is traumatic violence also.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
In the climax, I like the scene. I always like this in movies and shows. They do this when they tell us about what has happened in the flashback, but we don't see the flashback. We just get to know it from their dialogues, and they kind of acted through that. So in this climax, right, he says, right, that birthday, the scene they enact. He said that you even slapped me, but I cannot slap you. So he slaps himself. So that is more impactful than showing me that flashback.
That was a very good scene.
But it was not enough to see. I think Keshav,
I needed more of that. Like that.
Keshav, you missed us in the beginning. We were talking about this, that what we think is, even if father was present, he would have been violent because his absence didn't make him violent. His father not being there, or not being with him, not answering to his obsession with him, didn't turn him violent. He's that character because we never see his arc in the movie.
Yeah.
So like even in the beginning, when he's going to bash all these guys in his sister's school, that's the first time you are seeing the rage in Ranbir's character, right? Because usse pehle when he's a kid, the maximum they show is the teacher is beating him with the ruler. Other than that, so cut to he's teenager and he has all this rage inside of him. I can understand little bit of reasoning that because of his father's absence, and this is a thing with a lot of sociopaths or psychopaths, that they have a traumatic childhood which leads them to become like a disturbed or sick person. That's there, but there was not enough nuance, or they didn't explore the intricacies of the fact that, first of all, why Anil is like that, and then secondly, why Ranbir is like that.
Exactly.
And if you hype the whole film from teaser, trailer, announcement on the father-son thing, and if you are going to show me that like 20-30% and the rest of the movie is all about violence, then that sweet spot is never found. That balance is so important. So even in Udaan, it's about father-son disturbed relationship, right? उसमें तो मार भी देता उल्टा उसको.
I have a really good thing to compare this film with. I don't know how many of you have seen Peacemaker.
Yes,
I've seen the
show.
Yes,
I've seen.
It's just exactly about how a violent, toxic, homophobic and white supremacist father and violence in his life has caused this character to be violent, and how he's always like Suicide Squad movie ends with John Cena believing that America is greatest. I'll do anything for my country. That's what he has been taught, and he kills a character, hero character, and that character ends up saying, "All this for what? What did you do?" It's like that haunts him. And Peacemaker show is post that he's suffering from this and he wants to get out of this violent nature. But in a it's a funny show, satirical show, and it's exploring that how his traumatic past has caused him to be like this. And that actually explores violence in a good sense. What has caused from a father-son relationship, how toxic and horrible it can be, you know?
But even Udan is a really good example, like, because you really feel like disgust towards Ronit Roy's character, and you're like, why is he like this? Like the son is suffering so much. So when that slap happens, I don't know, it's not right, obviously, because slapping and hitting and violence, but in the context of the film, like I hate it's my the fact ideology that I will not slap.
We have to explain this disclaimer every time we talk.
No, because that's not my ideology. You know, you were talking about
I think it should be obvious to people that that's not your ideology. You're just talking about the movie.
Yeah, but in the context of the film, I was like, yes, that is what Ronit Roy needed.
It happened.
I really, really felt bad for the son's character. So I feel because the film was just building up so much on the father-son relationship that the climax is just such a, I mean, it's very satisfactory.
It's liberating.
It's liberating. So I feel, in fact, the entire face-off in the end between Anil Kapoor and Ranbir Kapoor, where the Michael Jackson and the acting scene is happening, that also feels it's a good scene. But I needed more of that scene, because then that particular ending would have been amazing. It would have been absolutely amazing. So I think that was the main father-son relationship context was only lacking.
The keyword is build up. Build up,
absolutely. Like for Aziz's character now, I don't know. I can understand from his side of family, everybody is violent because that Dadaji was violent. Here, so Dadaji is so nice. So how has it passed on to the family line is a little confusing.
So I'll give you a real life example. So have you guys heard of Ted Bundy?
Yes.
So he's a famous serial killer. So he grew up in an environment where his grandfather was a very, very abusive and violent man. Okay, he was a bastard child, so he didn't have a father growing up. So he grew up in a household where his grandfather would abuse and beat his grandmother and his mother. So those are the growing up formative years. So if you grow up seeing all that around you, that's what you end up becoming. And then later on in his life, he's also treating a woman like puppets and toys and killing them and raping them and murdering them. So you don't know in this case why is Ranvijay being misogynistic at times, or just has no fucks given attitude or whatever, because those characteristics do not you don't see in Anil Kapoor or even his grandfather's character or even his mom's. So I would like to think that in general, he would have been grown up in a loving household, even though his father was absent for most of the time, but at least there was no abuse or violence around him in that household, right? So I really, really hope that in second half, they get these shortcomings, just like how we talked during Brahmastra, right? कि उसमें जो गलतियां थी शायद सेकंड हाफ में वो सुधारे
ना करे. Exactly.
एक कॉन्टेक्स्ट, एक एग्जांपल इंडियन स्टोरीज में भी है. Have you seen that film, short film Natkhat, starring Vidya Balan?
No, I haven't seen.
Please, guys, watch that. I think that is how you show. That is how you show exactly what we want to be shown in Animal. So it's the story of a boy. Like I think he's in 4th or 5th standard, और उसकी माँ का रोल प्ले किया है विद्या बालन ने, and the boy is living in an environment which is very, very, what should I say? It's like a place where children should not even be born. It's like that. It's a very Kattarwadi family. Let's just say that. And he starts seeing things happening in his own family done by his father and his grandfather, that he starts, जैसे उसकी मम्मी एक सवाल पूछती हैं और वो एक ऐसा जवाब देता है जो आप सुनोगे तो you'll feel like, wait, this is exactly what he has seen happening in his house, which is why he's learning it like that. I request, please watch that short
That
film.
cut, right? It's there on YouTube?
I think it's on Voot or maybe on Geo Cinema, but I'm sure you will find it. Please watch it. It's a very, very well made. Please. It's a very, very well made short film. हाँ, क्योंकि ये इसी चीज के ऊपर है जो हम एनिमल से चाह रहे हैं ना. This is something that has been shown in that film, and that too in such a short span of time. It's a very like efficiently made film that covers this topic.
But यार overall देखा जाए तो कितना ज़्यादा potential था इस idea में. Like Vanga would have
बहुत. I mean movie तो चलो entertaining है तो चल रही है, but अगर स्क्रीन प्ले और भी अच्छा वो कर देता, oh my god.
I think it's because his ego and his arrogance got the better of him. अगर वो उसको साइड में रख के ये फिल्म बनाता ना, like you know somebody like an Anurag Kashyap जो अपने ego को थोड़ा सा साइड में रखता है while making a film, right? So it's like even in Manmarziya how he explored the human relationship, the interpersonal relationships. So ऐसे ही अगर इस फिल्म के अंदर भी you know he would have had more on Bobby and Ranbir or Anil and Ranbir. You know,
I think that's where for Bobby Deol, I really wanted like more screen time for him.
I think the commercial element comes in because I think for me the moment I realized he's actually not going for that human drama, that he's not targeting that, he's targeting for a commercial entertainer. I understood what should my expectations be, you know. So I was actually not that disappointed because I took my step back that okay, this is not what I was promised in the trailer. So let me take back and let's see where he's taking it.
Don't you think कि just because उसने वो जो statement दी कि I will show what a violent film is, because of that उस चीज का influence movie में इतना ज़्यादा दिख रहा है कि अगर वो मान लो वो angle ना होता, उसने वो बात ना बोली होती या critics उतना ज़्यादा backlash ना आता कबीर सिंह पे, maybe he would have made a movie more inclined towards human drama than this much violence.
No, I don't think that's. I'm talking about the commerciality of the film, the narrative. I don't think he changed the narrative of the film कि यार human drama छोटी मतलब कहानी को छोटा जगह रखते हैं. That I think the plan was to make it a big entertaining blockbuster film. And I think that's his goals against
to make it very violent.
Yeah, so I don't think because the critics, I think he just pushed it more. Like I'll show you more what I can do. I'll not hold back. I think that maybe has happened, but I don't think the story changed because I think when he did that interview, was already talks in Ranbir Kapoor.
Yeah.
So he would have heard the story. So and the kind of filmmaker they are, kind of person Ranbir is, if he had changed the narrative totally just to attack, I don't think he would have agreed.
No, but see, a story being in place is one thing, but then uske baad, you know, there can be multiple screenplays of, you know, what to focus on and what not to.
No, but not how this distinct, right? It cannot be a totally different narrative that वो उसके भाई पे focus होता और वो कैसे लड़ाई करेंगे उस पे because this film is 4 hours long. Because you can tell from the trailers, from the song release, there's moments cut out from the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. This is a 4.5 hour long film. So it's not. See, you can actually tell when there's a narrative shift.
He needs to release the uncut version then. I swear.
No, but I don't think it will. I don't think it will. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it will solve the problem. It will not solve the problem.
Story, but I would like to see the uncut.
They should have done this like Wasipur 1 and 2. So Animal को पहले जो 4 घंटे की थी, इसी को 2 घंटे में 2 part release करना चाहिए.
So I'm not saying if you want Animal Park, wait for 10 years because Sandeep Reddy Vanga is already booked for next 2-3 years because the time it takes for one movie. His next is with Spirit with Prabhas. Then Allu Arjun. Then I don't know.
ये मतलब I think he has planned it कि Arjun Reddy Spirit Animal. Like if you say it like that, Arjun Reddy Spirit Animal. Care.
But I think we are 1.5 hours, guys. I don't want this to be as long as the movie. Someone did say the discussions on the movie is much more entertaining than the movie itself.
but a shout out to the music.
Yeah,
of course.
I think.
Of course, yeah.
And the sound design, very well done.
Yeah, but
I had a little bit of issue with the sound design because
too loud.
Sound mixing, yeah.
Mixing. Sorry. हाँ, तो it was कि मतलब वो बैकग्राउंड बीजीएम थोड़ा हाई जा रहा था एंड मुझे फिर डायलॉग्स ही नहीं सुनाई दे
The
रहे थे.
censor certificate says with English subtitles, but there
But
were
there
no
were no
subtitles.
subtitles.
वो तो
Especially the part
बहुत
where
misleading.
the dialogues are in Punjabi.
Yeah,
Like
you
you
know,
sort of
but,
get what you're saying. तुम्हें तो समझ आ गया होगा
Most
Nona, but
Hindi
हमें
films
नहीं आया.
released with subtitles in Goa. Most Hindi films. I don't know why this didn't. And there were a lot of places, as Chechi said,
No, here
the dialogues
also
were
it
not.
did not.
I couldn't hear what he's saying.
And we needed the
Especially that
subtitles for Rashmika's
After he kills the brother-in-law.
I don't think.
After he kills the brother-in-law, when they're eating biryani, I don't know anything what they said. I didn't hear anything. I couldn't understand.
Yeah.
When the
because
animal reveal
of the
comes.
mixing. Yeah. Absolutely. Same.
I think it was inspired by Tenet then, in that case.
Yeah. No, and
Tenet का अलग problem था.
the Arjun Valley thing, the whole 20-minute bit before interval, I literally had to keep fingers in my ears. It was so loud. I don't know if it's only in my the theater I watched, if it's a sound system there, or is it overall?
See,
it was way too loud.
See, I wear turban, so I'm always good. That saved me from KGF also. KGF was really loud. See, even with turban, it was too loud.
नहीं, उतना loud नहीं था.
So maybe it's a theater thing then.
See, they wanted us to feel just like Ranbir in the movie, that you cannot hear anything. No, that which brings to a point. I really like that they mentioned this fact that after doing all this, he lost his hearing. You know, it impacts their body.
I loved the fact that after taking so many bullets, like he's actually suffering. Like there are actual issues
like he has
in
to
his
get a
body
heart
that the doctor
transplant
explains it. That was that. I really like that part. चलो भाई चलो पुलिस नहीं है तो क्या हुआ पर डॉक्टर तो है.
But too much explanation of the penis stuff.
Too much explanation of
what happens to the penis, like the whole
the tube and all of that.
Urinary function is failed, and
I think who mentioned this? I think Jamie mentioned it, that in Kabir Singh it made sense that he's a doctor, so that's why he's, there's certain talk about different body parts.
But maybe Vanga has some fascination because he thinks this makes things more gory, like these details would make a person.
See, if you have seen Arjun Reddy, like see in Arjun Reddy also there were moments where the character has a belief system which comes out through the dialogues at many places. I think there was a scene which was actually cut out from Kabir Singh, which was there in Arjun Reddy, where he said to his friend something like, after marriage, girl's only thing is not to take care of the family. She has her own life and independence. Something like that dialogue was there. Even in this film, he says to his sister, So I don't know. Some people say he just added that moment, so that his critics are quiet. Because but that scene was in Arjun Reddy also.
In this film, I like the fact that when the film begins, so Ranbir has more liberal thoughts, and by the end of it, when he's self-destructing himself, he goes from liberal to such, what do I say, such conservative, he's against the fact that she's wearing some fancy lingerie or something, and he's like, why do you wear all this? And so that arc, his character is Breaking Bad, basically, from such a free thinker to coming downhill all the way. So that's one arc which I like, and another one is in this one, it's the woman slapping him all the time, and he doesn't slap back.
That, as Chechi said, can be a thing, like product of what happened with Kabir Singh.
Yeah,
knowing Vanga, you won't expect him to give two damns about what happened with Kabir Singh.
But I feel that that's what Nona said, that he went all out, not caring about the critics. But I felt that there were certain insert scenes where I thought that no, he is doing that because he remembers that he wants to prove a point to the critics. That's what I feel.
What if in the uncut, whatever the deleted scenes are, there might have been a scene where he slaps back?
Maybe, we don't know. That's
he did grab her neck, so.
And the whole the brass strap thing,
Yeah.
It
that was
reminded
uncomfortable
me,
to watch.
It reminded me of the scars that the teacher leaves on his hand. So he's just getting back at it in one way or the other.
We talked about that scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone says I liked Sandeep plays Rashmika as a Telugu girl, not changing it. Okay. Just like Rajan.
So that is fine. That accent is okay. It was the dialogue delivery where she was not clear with the dialogues. There's nothing is wrong.
And
with
I'm
the
hoping
accent.
all of this is dubbed later on. So even with dubbing and mixing, it's not clear. Then
Yeah.
Someone talking about the Rashmika's dialogues. I think that scene was her scene. Totally, she owned it.
Yeah, she
I
owned
really
that
liked that scene.
entire scene completely.
she's a better actor than I expected. It's the first time I've seen any of her work.
You've not seen Pushpa?
No.
Acha.
Apparently, Sandeep said in his Telugu interview that he's changing social milieu of his protagonist. Prabhas will be a middle class man in spirit. Okay. Did you guys read RGV's review, Ram Gopal Verma?
No.
That's quite something.
He's trying to.
What did he say?
He wants to. I want to touch Sandeep Reddy Vanga's feet because he has broken every convention in the world of Indian cinema, and I'm very happy. This is a gist. Matlab,
Yeah, and he wants to
Yes.
kiss his foot and he wants to suck Ranbir's foot. I think that's what he wrote.
ये तो मैंने नहीं
Thank
पढ़ा।
God you ended that sentence with foot.
No, that I'm paraphrasing. The irony in the movie, that movie is said to be father-son bond carved in blood. The bond between them is lacking throughout the film. Isn't that the point? Like quite meta.
No,
All
but
the men in the
we
movie are
need to
abnormal.
feel that lack, nah. That's what. We never felt the lack of the bond also. It was just not shown. But
Even like the
Yeah.
whole
it
idea
has to
of
linger throughout the film.
the family never came together and he went to Punjab and like even that like so it felt so random that okay.
You read that comment? No, all the men in the film are abnormal.
Yeah.
So that reminds
The
me of
elder
that.
people are
that-
not normal.
No, that scene in the factory, like this, all the men also includes the factory workers, where he's talking about gala card thing and everybody's like this.
And it's on live TV, huh? Live
Yeah,
TV
and-
telecasted.
And only Shakti Kapoor gives the look. कि ये क्या बोल रहा है? And everybody else. So I thought कि चलो at least Shakti Kapoor. And
Like some of
By
the
the way-
extras in that scene were so overacting that
नहीं,
those
नहीं,
people
but
in
end
the
में
court
शक्ति कपूर
in
भी
the
smile कर रहा
first
था.
end में कर रहा था. But
End में
शुरू
कर रहा था.
हाँ.
Initially he was shook, like, oh, what did he just say?
अरे,
But then he
Shakti
was
Kapoor-
smiling. He's like, okay,
Shakti
great,
Kapoor
wow.
joins the bandwagon even in that scene where Ranbir is roaming naked and they are doing the gunshots and
Gunshot.
salami दे रहे हैं उसको. तो वहाँ पे
all the violence is mostly CG blood and the feel is missing. We didn't feel anything. If they use scripts instead of CG, the feel would have been more and the motivation is lacking behind the violence. I think it's the latter than the former. It was not even proper violent movie. Toxic family mess. Violence makes sense when it's supported by strong emotion. Udan is a very violent film in that sense, traumatic violence. The director of Captain Miller, whose first film Rocky regarded as most violent film of Indian cinema, but he told that Captain Miller will be less violent because he wants it to show the people.
For that matter, Sani Kaidam is also very violent.
Oh man, I couldn't properly watch it. It was so... But in that sense,
So
you wanted
uncomfortable
that
to watch.
pain. You wanted them to suffer because what they
they did to her.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the naked Ranbir scene? He's roaming in the lawn.
Did they mention 3 months later? And someone also said that heart transplant makes you fit. I don't think that was the point. I think he got a transplant
No,
and then
they just
he got fit
mentioned
in 3 months.
they just mentioned the patient, like when he got the transplant, like that was the point, that he has gotten the transplant. And when you see him completely fit, you just know that, okay, there's a time skip. Now he's like fit after the transplant.
Some people think, he got a heart and he's six pack now.
No, that is like, we have to assume that. Like, there's already a time
but
skip.
did you... I quite liked because in that scene he was literally an animal-like beast, right? Because he's just animals roam naked, right, in the jungle. So
Yeah.
he's like among his kingdom, and he's just free and liberated in a sense.
Sometimes it felt like there are moments in the movie just to justify the title.
Yeah.
It's not.
Would you include cheating on the wife as well in that?
No, that I
Because
said
in
no.
jungle,
He did it for the
because in
father.
jungle, an animal wouldn't care.
No,
for
but that
he
he
didn't
justifies
do it
that
out
he has
of
done it
this,
for the
no.
father. He justifies it, na?
He
That,
didn't
no,
do
he
it.
did it for the
He
father.
purely did that act just for his father.
That
know
was
the
not
plan,
animalistic
to know the
instinct.
plan.
Yeah.
So, but as I said, it works on the paper, but doesn't, when you see it translated on screen, it feels so
Yeah.
stupid.
So
Did
was
you
the
see-
execution at fault? if it works on paper,
Not
so was
even
the
the
execution not done with conviction? Or
I think sometimes it's just that when you translate some things on paper to screen, it does not work. The idea is there, but it feels so hollow in a sense. Like, oh, okay, just this happened. Okay. It's like it feels like a stupid plan even from the villain side that you send her. Oh, it's my.
ये कहने के लिए और सुनने के लिए सही है लेकिन प्रैक्टिकल नहीं है वैसा वाला.
उसमें भी अनिल कपूर.
There's a deleted scene released of Animal. I don't know. Vanga should remake Kill Bill next. I don't know.
What I liked was जब वो जिस डायलॉग पे वो ट्रोल हो रही थी रश्मिका, तो जब वो मूवी में आता है उसके बाद रणबीर का नेक्स्ट डायलॉग है क्या बोली तू. Even he did.
नहीं, the best moment is वो गूंगा है ये बहरा है. That is the best
that moment was so.
I love that scene. वो वहाँ से चिल्लाता है.
मेरा भाई सुन नहीं सकता.
Oh, that was a really. I like in fact, the comedy really works in this.
The
film
point
for me.
in that scene for me was that I didn't even realize, and it's obvious. I know he's mute. I know he cannot hear his ear thing also falls on. But I'm not even thinking. I'm invested in the scene. I'm like, suddenly they make you point out. I'm like, oh my god, yes, that's true.
So that really
at one point,
I really like that.
At one point, I thought this thought came to my mind: is this the most gutsy film since Delhi Belly?
Rang De Basanti?
No, since Delhi Belly. So,
Delhi Belly is gutsy? I don't know.
Belly.
I thought it was like ahead of
It was
its
just
time.
Like what I have, like it's a good, cool, funny, like edgy film. I don't think it's more than that. Yeah.
It's more edgy
Like,
than gutsy. Like
I think what Keshav is saying कि एक वो category होती है ना, you don't get to see this often.
Yeah, black comedy एक तो वैसे इंडिया में अच्छा बनता नहीं है. So in that sense.
Black comedy, then I think it's a very different genre only,
नहीं, but like in terms of overall execution, I guess Keshav is saying कि जिस तरह से conceive किया है, बनाया है और जो present किया है, this is something जो हम रोज मतलब you don't get to see this in every film.
So Delhi in that sense was very unexpected. Like
yes, it was
Indian cinema. So
correct.
That breaking that barrier, that kind of a thing. So do you think this, or I don't think Kabir Singh was as breaking the barrier, but this is
no Delhi Belly when it had
a...
released definitely had the shock value. Like ऐसी भी एक movie हो सकती है. It was like that.
Kabir Singh Arjun Reddy was also like 3 hour long. It's in a lot of sense maybe it's kind of, people may say Devdas, but it's not. But it's about the self-destruction of a man.
But this had more shock value than Kabir Singh, I thought.
Yeah, of course. This definitely had.
This was intended that way.
That's why I'm calling it more gutsy than that.
A personal like impressionism of the director. Whereas this was more about making the point of, shocking the audience.
See, once Tarantino said कि I make films for myself. अभी audience को पसंद आता तो एक add-on है.
So I see a lot of people in support of the movie say, अरे Tarantino की movie होती है, Scorsese की movie होती है तो सबको सब सही है, कुछ गलत नहीं है, लेकिन हमने बना दी तो boycott it, this and ban it. I honestly saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I didn't understand the movie at all.
वो उसका पहले पूरी एक्चुअली थोड़ी सी हिस्ट्री पढ़नी पड़ेगी कि वो किलर सीरियल किलर कौन है क्या है और उसके बाद व्हेन यू सी दोस डॉग्स किलिंग देम एंड ऑल दैट जो भी उसमें सीन है देन यू रियली अंडरस्टैंड कि अच्छा ये चल रहा है यहाँ पे. उससे पहले तो यू आर जस्ट सिटिंग एंड एडमायरिंग लियोनार्डो डिकैप्रियो. भाई क्या एक्टर है.
देयर आर सो मेनी अमेजिंग मोमेंट्स. दे लाइक दिस सीन इज सो गुड. When Leo cannot act and he just criticizing himself. That's such a great scene. I'm like, but the whole movie, I'm like, oh, kya?
One thing I have to give it to Vanga for sure is the authenticity in the characterization of Sikh.
Yes.
There was this question also. As a Telugu director, did he
portray
the cast was so good. The cast was good and the accent was proper. So all this homework was done. So I think kudos to that, at least on that front.
The Sikh character that gets killed off, right, by Aziz, that got a lot of fans.
No, and not just like the authenticity of showing the characters. I think just getting such great performances from all the actors.
Yeah,
like
so,
that,
like
that
even giving them moments. Like most people, what do you call them, henchmen, they don't get moments, but they gives them a lot of moments in the film.
Yeah.
Even
He doesn't treat them
right.
like henchmen, he treats them like cousins, just like the character.
Yeah, and then that dialogue is also there, na, where Rashmika is like, "तुम्हारा bodyguard," and this like, "नहीं bodyguard भाई है मेरे." So you know that, in fact, literally everybody's performance-wise, especially Ranbir, I'm like, I have become I was already a fan of his acting, but after this, I'm like full air conditioner.
Keshav has ruined Breaking Bad for me. It was in my bucket list. Same here.
अरे अभी कुछ ruin नहीं किया है. I can vouch, कुछ ruin नहीं किया है. Trust me.
यार वो ऐसा slow burn है कि तुम अगर proper cinephile हो तो फिर भी enjoy कर लोगे.
Andhadhun was a black comedy, yes. Arjun Reddy broke the barriers at least in Tollywood. Okay.
Acha.
Sandeep Reddy is a physiotherapist doctor. He studied in Bangalore.
Yes, उसका TED Talk देखो जाके. बताएगा वो he sold उसके family में पता नहीं क्या mango farms थे. He had to sell them in order to raise money to make this film. कौन सी आई थी? Arjun Reddy. Yeah. भद्रकाली पिक्चर्स जो उसकी कंपनी उसने ऐसे ही सेटअप करी थी. And then बहुत पंगा हुआ था उसके साथ.
As a filmmaker inside me, right? It feels so good that there's someone who could make what he wanted to make. He didn't back down. He didn't compromise. Because at the scale he's making this film, most people have to compromise. And he was able to do that and go against the criticism and the critics and everyone and still make your point. It takes guts. And that is, what do you call it? अरे यार मुंह में था वर्ड मेरे
भाई क्या हो रहा है आज ये
नहीं applause.
By the way, did you enjoy Prem Chopra's special appearance? It took me back to the Rocket Singh days. He plays his grandfather in that, no?
अरे क्या ही सीन था यार तो short
नहीं, just his presence, good to see him back after so long, and because
until you said it, I didn't understand that he's Prem Chopra.
Wow.
Prem Chopra नाम है मेरा. बताओ.
What if Ranvijay didn't get heart for transplantation? Then he will be like a ticking bomb and he will not have time and will be more vulnerable. I think that would have generated more drama. I was actually thinking that only until he gets the transplant. Then because I was thinking in the beginning they set up he's alive.
But वो फिर Breaking Bad से ज़्यादा comparison होता है क्योंकि उसमें उसका कैंसर उसको मार देता है.
Shush. अब हो गया स्पॉइल. अब कर दे.
नहीं अभी, लेकिन मैं 2 साल से नोना को जानता हूँ. 2 साल से देखा नहीं है इसने.
अरे यार नहीं टाइम मिल रहा है यार. क्या
इसने नहीं देखा है?
नहीं तभी तो शुश कर रहा है.
अरे यार
stop. क्या कर रहे हो यार?
Okay, a lot of people are talking about Godfather comparisons, which I actually didn't see first, but then when I open internet, I'm like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Yeah, there's so much similarities. Michael Corleone meets Arjun Reddy.
Corleone, भाई साहब.
अरे कारो कोरे सब. Wedding multiple characters, wives, father being shot, music playing. Yeah, a lot of sense.
I like that Marathi character also, जो gun बेचने आता है.
He's very
the comedy with the underwear, Black Cobra लिखा होता है.
and the way there is Marathi DJ song when he's going.
That was such a.
बढ़िया था.
I think Vanga has a great music taste. Like even the Bobby Deol के entry पे Arabic song जो आता है.
Persian song,
and that Marathi song, and then how they use Arjun Valley, so everything integrated so well.
सबसे अच्छा use मुझे वो Arjun Valley का लगा, like the way it was incorporated in that scene.
Gunshots are with the rhythm.
Amazing.
Yeah. But the only thing that put me off there was एक आदमी 200 लोगों को अकेला हैंडल कर रहा है, सिर्फ उससे एक्स के साथ. उस टाइम वो गन भी नहीं थी बड़ी वाली उसके पास. And I kept thinking कि there were 2 halves of the enemies, right? आधे इस तरफ थे, आधे उस तरफ. तो जब वो इधर वालों को डील कर रहा था पीछे वाले क्या कर रहे हैं मारो
But
अरे
that
यार
is a
come
trope.
on that
But वो तो यार हर हिंदी
every
फिल्म में होता है.
forget
मतलब
Hindi
it's
film, every
fine.
action
हर
film
हिंदी
has this
फिल्म
issue.
यार बट
Maybe
पता नहीं
except Old Boy.
अब आती है ये चीजें
Where it
दिमाग में
feels-
उससे क्या करे बंदा
नहीं बट ओल्ड बॉय में बंदा पिटता भी तो है फिर. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि वो
इसमें
एक ही
तो-
बार में सबको खलास कर
नहीं
दिया.
नहीं but it feels that it doesn't feel like it's a movie and the hero has to beat them all. It feels like they want to kill him. It doesn't matter where the camera is.
इसमें तो सिर्फ एंड में बॉबी से थोड़ा सा पिटता है और तो वो
अरे यार इतना तो नहीं जा सकते इस मूवी में. Okay, very glad to see Pranjal here. His review of RRR was just so nuanced and his video about Prashant Neel craft is good. कौन है भाई Pranjal यहाँ पे? Guys, his name is Porush.
Oh, अच्छा.
It was directed at you.
Yeah, it was iconic to see Shakti Kapoor in this same guy in this movie.
By the way, how was he related to him? They never told ना अंकल ही बुलाता है बस.
I
किसका वो उसकी माँ का भाई है या किसका भाई है?
I thought that he is the father of the brother-in-law. But then I guess not. No, but that scene was good. The way music kicks in when he finds out it's his brother-in-law.
Yeah, that's
And then he just goes to hug his sister, and then we
Right.
cut to what do you call that effect? Negative film, right?
Yeah.
We see him choking
Yes,
his
yes.
brother-in-law. Cut to
Yeah.
his hugging his sister.
Oh, by the way, I love the fact how the entire, like how his name was not revealed till the
yeah.
interval block. Like I
So many
loved
people
that.
didn't even
I
like
loved
me
that.
didn't
I
even realize
it,
their name
but
is
it
not
was so
told to
cool.
us.
I loved that.
RGB said that he did not connect to his father-son relationship. He also stated that he didn't like the scene in which Ranvijay asked Zoya to lick the shoes. Sandeep Reddy Vanga shared that tweet and said, "I look up to you and thank you. Except two things, I'm okay with the review."
But wait
So
a
who
second.
knows two things?
So he didn't like the shoe licking scene. But he
RGB.
also said RGB. But he also said at the same time that he wants to. What was this?
That's
Suck Ranbir's.
okay. We'll talk about this after the stream. I'll give you context.
Okay.
RGB didn't like the movie. I think his review is pretty much. See, I think a good review is never about movie is good or bad. It's more about understanding the film. So, from that perspective, Rashmika's role in Dear Comrade is really good. If you have not seen, it's really good.
So much contrast between Bhardwaj Rangan's and Anupama Chopra's reviewing this time. Like two extremes.
Yeah. But then that's the beauty of these kind
Yeah,
of cinemas. Now, like
exactly.
you get to
Yeah.
hear so many opinions and
Yeah.
listen to so many
No one is
perspectives.
wrong, both make
Yeah,
sense.
No, but I'm stating because I've never seen them so extremes. Like itna on different pages. I've seen it for the first time.
Sandeep said he only edited out 10 minutes on the movie, okay?
वाह.
अच्छा तो वो भी क्यों एडिट आउट किया वो भी डाल देता
उसमें कौन सा डेप्थ थी?
Okay, so there was this.
या नहीं क्या पता उससे डेप्थ थोड़ी सी आ जाती.
हाँ.
So I think someone mentioned that JB in his review said, I don't care if a character is sexist or racist. It's when it feels like the director is sexist and racist and he's using the film as a vehicle to express his sexism and racism, that's when I get bothered. And there's also one comment saying that maybe Sandeep is not that. He said there's a line in the film where he says it's a man's world. So I don't know how you're not going to take that.
Maybe, see, people in rural parts of India might actually still connect with that line, and because we all know that patriarchy still exists in a lot of parts in India.
and the way Ranbir says that dialogue like it's a man's world unfortunately like you have to accept it.
Yeah.
He says it in that way. I remember that dialogue. Yeah.
Like people in urban areas will absolutely disagree with it, especially the women. But we know that the bigger population which lies in the rural India, there is still a huge sense of patriarchy, and that is that is your mass audience for the film. They will connect with these kind of dialogues even more, and they'll hoot and cheer for that.
I would say I think patriarchy is everywhere, man. It's just evolved in a different way, which we don't see around us. And we associate it to being in that area where we don't belong. Whereas when you look through a different lens in our own society, we'll see so many things happening.
So you agree that it's sadly still a man's world. He was right to add that dialogue.
I'm saying that is right. It's a man's world. I'm not saying the film the way he says it. See, to justify your action as a character I don't agree with the character, but he's justifying his action saying that. So my question is it coming from the character or the director?
It would have come from it actually feels that it is coming from the director, because we don't have enough context about the character's background. Like, we just know, like, these are the facts about the character.
But it's both in a way, right? Because the character is the brainchild of the director. So in a way, it's both, I would say.
Correct. But the point is that if, say, you are writing a dark film, I mean, you are going to probably think from the character's perspective and write. It might not necessarily be your own thinking or your own ideology. But you are making a film or you're writing a story in that universe. The character is going to behave like that. So you will obviously make dialogues, which are more appropriate that way, right?
But based on these two films, I feel that, a lot of his own ideologies are reflected in his characters.
Yeah, I'm saying, okay, for maybe, Sandeep, it's true, because if you see his interviews also, it kind of comes across as
that. In this context, I'm saying, in general, it could be different,
Correct.
See, I just say this, man. My job is not to, judge the director's ideology, then just the movie. I care what's in the movie, not, try to understand what director कैसा है, अच्छा है, नहीं है, बुरा है. वो अब मैं उसमें कहाँ घुसूं?
हाँ, well, हम तो जानते भी नहीं. But that's the point. Basically,
but the point is, if he's
bad, discussion has gone into him.
Yeah,
that is that's why I feel that everybody's missing the point. Like, talk about the film and its writing and all of that.
Does he have the right to make a film? Yes, irrespective of what his ideology is. Do you have to believe in his ideology? No. The problem with Vanga's film is that the characters won't have consequences for the actions they commit. Be it Arjun Reddy, be it Kabir Singh. I think he does, right? In the end, he's like, he doesn't get his father's love. His wife and kids are leaving. He's not in a happy place. He's not, everything not justifies. He's happy. Hey, everything I did, all was right. And, I'm victorious at the end. Even I would say Arjun Reddy, Kabir Singh, you see the whole self-destruction. He even loses his medical license, everything. It's at the end that you find out even she was, waiting for him. That is not a victory, but he has gone through all these lows. By the end of it, you get an arc where he's getting he works on his anger management. You get an arc with him that he's getting a better human being. Now you can say, no, he should have died. He should be in prison. He's a horrible character.
So this is the other way around, right? He's becoming a worse human being.
But that's the point of this film, right? This film is not about showing that he becomes a better person.
It's about him becoming a psychopath, basically.
This is not a redemption story, I think. For his own self, it's not. Like, killing Abrar was not actually a redemption, because how his father says that, at the end they say na ki aap abhi bhi jeet jaoge, aapke paas na waqt hai. So his father dies and they still don't get their father-son moment. वो तो बोलता है अमेरिका चलते हैं, but that doesn't happen. So that gumption is not there, right?
I disagree a little bit. It's not okay for both of them to show aggression through violence, no matter what gender you belong to. I think he's talking about when you were talking about Kabir Singh. See, no one is saying showing anger is good, but we are talking about the situation and the scene in that movie.
Scene and the context of the scene, basically.
Vanga realized that lashing out in media won't get him anywhere and decided to answer through films, which is good thing, but he went overboard and because of self-indulgent. Okay. The title card's placement animal is spot on. The first kill happens before the scene and he eats biryani, the primary function of animals to hunt and consume food. Okay. I wish Suresh Oberoi and Anil Kapoor had a complicated relationship that would have justified the plot hole of Suresh Oberoi not revealing family history and threats to Ranbir earlier.
Maybe in Animal Park they have.
By that time, the film went too far,
Yeah,
for course
I mean,
correction.
Like, correct.
And even when Suresh Oberoi tells the whole story, Ranbir also asks कि आप मेरे को पहले नहीं बता सकते.
पहले क्यों नहीं बताया?
सर 2 बार ऐसे हुआ कि एक तो ये चीज पहले क्यों नहीं बता दी और एंड में जो 10 मिनट की कॉन्वर्सेशन अनिल और रणबीर की थी वो पहले क्यों नहीं हो गई. एंड इट्स द सेम थिंग व्हिच आई फेल्ट इवन इन तो झूठी में मक्कार की एंड में जो तुम सब एक्सप्लेनेशन कर रहे हो तो पहले कर लेते तो इतना कॉम्प्लिकेशन ही ना होता.
ये डायलॉग किसने लिखा है?
Okay, this comment was about the ending where the boy runs back to Ranbir and Rashmika get out of the car, start crying. I thought it was because she realized that maybe the cycle is repeating again and she can't leave. What do you guys think?
Did you guys emotionally connect with that?
After that, I think she just cries seeing that moment between father and son, and probably she has left. I don't know. I think that is sort of open-ended.
But did that scene move you guys? It didn't move me when they hugged the son, and it didn't have any. Though the pathos had left the train very early on for me. Like so in Tare Zameen Par when Darshil hugs Amir Khan, I cried with literal tears. So इसमें जब वो end का hug आया, it had no effect at all on me.
For me,
वो तो तब पता चलेगा ना when you build that relationship. There's just one scene between them where it's like, oh, dad, you are my superhero.
Yeah.
But
even that lacked depth.
अभी 10 मिनट हैं, देखते हैं.
Talking about Tare Zameen Par, I think for the moment that hits me harder is the scene before where he gives his painting and goes to see what he was painting, and the realization that someone finds him so important that he has painted him with smile. I think that just and with the music crescendoing.
जब वो आमिर खान उसके फादर को बताता है ना वो पेड़ वाली analogy.
Oh, that scene is epic.
मतलब that is how.
And when he goes down and meets the father.
That is how I wanted to feel with Animal, to be very honest.
Yeah.
Which is why
correct. You are spot on.
Agreeing to what Keshav said, भाई मुझे कुछ फील नहीं हुआ.
दर्शील और उसके फादर का जो आर्क था ना उस मूवी में, यहाँ पे अनिल और रणबीर का ऐसा दिखाते,
वही चाहिए था हमें. We needed that. Only adult version.
In fact,
नहीं चाहे फ्लैशबैक में बच्चे वाला भी दिखा देते.
एक्चुअली वही चाहिए था.
उड़ान का भी हम एग्जांपल दे रहे हैं तो उड़ान में भी रोनित रॉय गेट्स हिज मोमेंट. वो जब बोलता है ना उसको अपने भाई को राम कपूर की मैं थक गया हूँ, कब तक मैं सबको देखता रहूंगा ये वो, तो वहां पे भी आप कोशिश कर रहे हो कि हाँ इसका भी हम थोड़ा सा इसको दें कि यार व्हाट इज ही फीलिंग. बट उससे पहले आपने इतना सही कैरेक्टर डेवलपमेंट उसका किया है, उसकी रिलेशनशिप उसके बेटे के साथ, उसके जितने रिजेक्शंस हैं, ऑब्जेक्शन है कि भाई तुम एक राइटर को जाके फैक्ट्री में पटक रहे हो, और वो शॉट जब आता है जब वो ऐसे नीचे बंद हो रहा है, he is just there. So
actually पता है क्या, इससे ज्यादा फादर सन का जो बॉन्ड है, especially in Ranbir films, I felt more depth in other films of his, like तमाशा में जो दिखाया बॉन्ड, या फिर even Wake Up Sid में जो दिखाया है,
even Wake Up Sid for that matter, like the whole relationship between father and him discarding like the mother's feeling and realizing like the mom was always there with him, and honestly so good.
जब रणबीर तमाशा में अपने पापा को वो कहानी सुनाता है ना, और अगर हम थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे इससे कनेक्ट करें तो ये जो तमाशा में जब वो कहानी सुना रहा था ना, by that moment I felt as if he has seen what has happened in my house, and he's just imitating that, because I remember sitting with my father trying to explain him. The only difference was I cried, but he did not. So this is the kind of attachment that I had with Tamasha, jo ki maine actually bahut late discovered.
No, but that particular scene was relatable to literally so many people. Like, अच्छा ये तो मेरे घर में हुआ है, तो मेरी कहानी है. It was that.
वही है वो, हम जब तक वो रणबीर उधर कहता है कि मैं पापा पापा करूंगा, आप बेटा बेटा करना, और वो भाई आप 10 मिनट में, which is why I was केशव आया नहीं तो
नहीं, बट देखो बात 10 मिनट की नहीं होती. आप ये जवानी है दीवानी में भी एक सीन है उनका, लेकिन वो इतना ज्यादा इम्पैक्टफुल था उसके फादर के साथ कि वो तो 10 मिनट का भी नहीं था, वो शायद 2-4 मिनट का सीन है, बट उसके अंदर ही आपको वो दिख जाती है डेप्थ, एंड आप एज एन ऑडियंस कनेक्ट कर जाते हो उसके फादर सन के कोर से.
लेकिन मुझे ये लगा कि अगर उसको, एंड दिस इज व्हाट आई वाज मेंशनिंग टू नोना एंड अश्मिता, दैट अगर एक सीन इनैक्ट करके ही उसको करना, तो यार तो आप 1 घंटा पहले कर लेते। अगर अनिल कपूर को इतनी जल्दी मानना है, जो कि आप इतना लंबा एक पीरियड दिखा रहे हो ट्रॉमा का, निग्लेक्ट का, जो कि वो भी मिसिंग था, बट अगर एक ही उसमें अगर था कि हाँ बेटा बस तू एक काम करिए, सीन कर दे मेरे सामने, और मैं फिर तेरी जो तूने मुझे पोएम लिख के दी थी उसी को मैं पढ़ दूंगा, एंड या
बट आई थिंक उसका एक लॉजिक ये हो सकता है कि उसी टाइम पे एक दिन पहले उसको पता लगता है कि उसके पास 4-5 महीने रह गए हैं.
So maybe that scene could have been placed before that Bobby Deol fight, और फिर शायद
that he comes to know that he doesn't have much time, so he knows what is going to happen when the confrontation is happening.
Then that point doesn't work, right? Because he wants to kill Bobby Deol, because Bobby Deol will kill the father.
नहीं, तो मैं वही तो कह रहा हूँ, this is what I told, that he should have reached there.
He should have reached there.
पहुंच चुका होता. And he might have taken over the house. He might have captured the family and the father, and then, और उससे पहले हमें पता चल चुका है कि oh shit, his father has just 6 months, and wait, guess what, his family has also been captured. So now it's like that moment.
मतलब बॉम्बे के दिल्ली के एयरपोर्ट के रनवे पे कर लेते अगर ये फाइट, वो इंडिया आ जाता.
It's not about the runway, it's about the fact कि वो घर पे, मतलब वही है कि वो, there are so many things that could have been done, but ठीक है, let's see.
Entertaining तो था, बस
entertaining था.
कभी, अच्छा लास्ट क्वेश्चन, कबीर सिंह से ज्यादा मैच्योर फिल्म लगी वांगा की है आप?
नहीं.
No, I think Kabir Singh was more like that. In terms of arc of a character, Kabir Singh makes much more sense.
So this is like a weaker film, you thought? After 4 years, he made a weaker film than his last one.
But the thing is, it's just too different. If you look at it, if you look at the film for what it is, it's a big commercial hit. Yeah. It works as a commercial film. But
individually,
individually, I would still, pick up Kabir Singh like as a superior film. Individually, in terms of the character and everything.
क्योंकि जैसे हम कैरेक्टर आर्क की बात करते हैं, तो ऐसे अगर हम डायरेक्टर आर्क की बात करें कि how he has matured himself evolved as a director in 4 years.
I don't know what you mean by mature.
Mature as in like अब जैसे मैंने जो 4 साल पहले मैं जो म्यूजिक बना रहा था और जो मैं अब बना रहा हूँ, तो मैं उसको, क्योंकि तो मेरे अंदर से रहा है, तो मैं कंपेयर करता हूँ अपने काम को कि how much I have evolved as an artist.
What are the criteria?
Storytelling, like how I presented something 4 years ago and how I'm presenting it right now. Of course, ideas are different, but it's the same artist, it's the same director.
No, but presentation-wise, this movie is fabulous. That's why we could sit through 3.5 hours of this film without getting bored. Like, if you're talking in terms of writing, I would say this is a step down. Kabir Singh writing is much superior. But in terms of if talking about presenting a film, this film is also presented really well. There's nothing wrong with the execution and the presentation, because he has churned out really great performances from all the actors. So I don't think in terms of presentation, he's lacking in this. In terms of writing, for sure, but not in terms of presenting a film, like visually engaging the audience that way.
I mean, 2 films is also very small sample size.
Yeah,
exactly.
His filmmaking prowess has increased. I know now this director can do this also. His versatility is at display.
Let's just say that he has been offered more resources after his previous success. So this is what he has done with them. And like Keshav said, कि अभी बहुत जल्दी है बताना. You cannot even tell if Prashant Neel is a great filmmaker और उसका बहुत ज्यादा आर्क हो गया, क्योंकि उसने सिर्फ 3 पिक्चरें बनाई. अभी जब सलार आएगी उसका पार्ट 2 आएगा, जो कि पता नहीं पार्ट 2 क्यों बना रहे, बट खैर. So I think उस टाइम पे it will be better. Like once Sandeep is done with Spirit, maybe then we can have a better comment कि saying अच्छा अब इसने इतनी फिल्म्स बना दी हैं, let's see, और 2-3 और बना दे, उसके बाद हम ज्यादा अच्छे से कमेंट कर सकते हैं.
There's a comment regarding that point of the bias of that small town people will be impacted more and all. He says it's not a bias. There's more patriarchy in small towns and rural areas. Also, quality education is less accessible. So somehow it feels their patriarchy is confirmation bias. Again, not a.
Interesting.
There's no, quantifiable, factual knowledge about that. The moment Ranbir cheats on Rashmika is an audience that feels cheated because it breaks the entire story of Ranbir and the audience can never see him as the hero again. I never saw him as hero. But
no,
okay.
but that point that Keshav said, that he said it with so much conviction in the beginning that I'll do whatever the hell I want to, but I'll never cheat on you. Like, that was him as a partner, as a lover. But then the moment he does it, you do feel betrayed that yaar ye kya kar diya. And Rashmika as a character, like, her character is a sweetheart. She's done nothing but been like really supportive and everything. So that I felt was like not done. But okay, fine.
But then she also
justification
in the spur of the moment, she also says कि अब तो मैं भी करूँगी.
वो तो कोई भी गुस्से में ऐसे ही बोलेगा.
I think she was making a point, right? अब तो मैं भी करूँगी ना, अगर if it's okay. मैं भी करूँगी
तो तुम भी, और मैं तुमको आके बता दूँगी. Then you also, accept it. You also forgive me.
How many of you have seen this Rajan DK's Guns and Gulabs?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So there's not yet. कान बंद कर लो. So there's a moment about cheating that the character says that if you tell your partner, because you want to get it out of your conscious, just you want to tell your partner. Yeah. You're not doing it. You tell truth because it's convenient for you, not because it's a right thing to do. Because you don't want that baggage of hiding something from your partner about it. You just want to tell her and let her deal with it. You are out of it then. Let her make decisions. Let her life get destroyed. So that's a very interesting analogy. Again, a personal remark made against the director, which I'm not going to say, and I don't agree making such statements against anyone. Be it this, be it Anurag Kashyap, be it anyone who makes a very, different kind of worldview, which I agree to, but some people don't agree and they do the same thing. If that's wrong, this is wrong. There was a very interesting question in the beginning. Is Aziz, Bobby's bro, an identical twin? Since Bobby receives news that he had identical twins, so pre-surgery did Aziz have Bobby's face instead of Ranbir?
No, he doesn't have identical twin. He gives his wife gives
third
birth.
Wife has identical twins. Okay. Now coming back to the bottom, guys, let's wrap up. It's almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
More than 2
hours. Can't believe someone made a movie just to shock the critics. I mean, the movie had a great thread, a father-son bond carved in blood, but the actual movie was nothing like that.
So I read a comment which said ki the fact that the movie is doing so well on box office and people are loving it, it's a reflection of your society. Why are they enjoying it so much? I mean, sometimes people generalize things so much.
ऐसे तो गदर भी is loved by so many people. जवान big hit. मतलब 3 Idiots is such a big hit. मतलब ये इतना generic.
You have to realize that people hating on the movie have seen it, considering they have seen it. So that also has paid to the box office. So you cannot just say box office. Everyone who saw it, they loved it.
नहीं, जैसे कबीर सिंह के टाइम पे बोला था ना कि youth can be so easily manipulated by this because cinema is a mass medium and it's very easy for vulnerable young minds to get affected by it. इस फिल्म में
बुरी चीज से ही होते हैं.
नहीं, हाँ, प्लस इस फिल्म में मतलब क्या वो सच में इससे क्या ही वो अफेक्ट हो जाएंगे. मतलब क्या मास मर्डर थोड़ी GTA 5 थोड़ी चल रही है कि जाके गोलियां मारने लगेंगे.
See, when people make such statements, I'm like, then if you think this, then the society has failed them. The education system has failed them. The parents have failed them. You cannot expect a filmmaker to instill values and beliefs in the audience. That's not their job. Their job is to entertain. And here that was clearly, if someone is getting influenced by this, then their family, their people around them have failed them. You cannot put that on the filmmaker.
चलो कबीर सिंह से 1% मुझे फिर भी वो समझ आ रहा था कि क्या इन्फ्लुएंस हो सकता है, लेकिन इससे क्या मतलब कोई स्कूल कॉलेज में जाके गोलियां तो चलाएगा नहीं ऐसे.
I remember someone on Twitter, I think, that scene was so bad. Some parents got triggered because they lost their kids in school. While I'm like, what? What?
अच्छा ऐसा भी कुछ है मैंने
इसका क्या लेना देना है? Then don't go watch movies. You knew it's an adult movie. Something
And a violent
else
film.
happens in a movie which has something tragic happened in my life, and I'm like, I'll blame the movie that how could you show that I got triggered? If you are so offended by such moments, if something triggers you, then don't consume stuff.
नहीं I feel एक point के बाद now the audience because इसका इतना हवा बन रहा है everybody is projecting.
Yeah.
Everybody has started projecting, which like people calm down, yeah, it's okay.
And
की आएगी सब animal भूल
the
जाएंगे.
film is
Now new
benefiting from
discussion
that.
will start.
The film will benefit from that.
Exactly, you're right.
Took that.
Ricky Gervais said कि if it's not your cup of tea, just move on. तो वही होना चाहिए.
Do you agree with Amir Khan's statement regarding violence in cinema? It's showing violence really just the incompetence of director to engage audience through alternative means. Yes, but Sandeep is not that guy. Like the statement is people who cannot make good films and good stories, they use sex and violence in movies just to sell it. Sandeep is not doing that. He has proved before. He is
not a
way above that.
It's not a B grade or C grade film.
Yeah. We know those people who do that.
And you know that it is done deliberately.
Yeah.
I mean, audience utni to intelligent hai.
I mean, there is violence and sex in Sacred Games as well, but it's the first season is such a masterpiece. So there can be good cinema with violence and sex.
In climax, one says Bobby can't talk and the other says Ranveer is deaf. Any symbolism? Someone also mentioned that, I think JB made this point that maybe the point is Anil Kapoor is kind of India or whatever people, and Ranbir and Bobby are India, Pakistan, and one is mute, one is deaf, and I don't know. Someone just mentioned a comment, so I don't know if it's even true. But okay, if you are making up stuff, I'm not making up stuff, like whatever theory you have. I don't know. It's like going to ice cream shop and complaining that there's so much of ice cream. Yeah, I made a point in one of my videos when I said a company makes a knife. Now, how that knife is used is not a company's problem, right? If someone is chopping, it's meant for chopping vegetables, and someone is using that to harm someone else, you'll go to the company and say, "How dare you?" You have to. The people using that knife should be careful, right? It's on them. The onus was on them.
Were you disgusted by that scene where Bobby kills somebody and then start assaulting his new wife?
Right?
That is, but I mean, see, the other two wives, when they are having this conversation in between them that, one of them married for money and the other one married because he is very good in bed.
I wanted to ask Chechi about that scene.
No, he can't talk. That's why she married.
No, but she also said that
like I want peace in my marriage.
नहीं, but दूसरी वाली ने कुछ और बोला.
दूसरी वाली ने बोला था ना कि loaded है बहुत ही.
एक ने बोला loaded है, एक ने बोला कि बोलता नहीं है, तो
I wanted to ask Chechi about that scene.
What?
What do you think about that scene?
Oh, I did
because
not
there are multiple interpretations.
It was for
which one?
No, the one
two ladies talking.
Okay. So that scene, I thought the scene after he kills.
No. About the two talking.
What do you want to know about that?
So there are two interpretations. One is that you show two women talking and sharing their thoughts about why they are married and they are smoking.
Yeah.
So it's like you are giving them agency. And the other is that you are trying to show that two women are only talking about sex and they're smoking and they're bad women. So the next scene happening is good thing to happen to them.
Oh no, I did not think the second thing at all.
Wait, what's the good thing?
I thought that these women, like, they are being, I don't know, they're just surviving and they're being just practical. Like they know, like the clarity of thought is there.
Yeah.
क्या मुझे तो पैसा चाहिए था और हाँ मेरे को शांति चाहिए. बस finish.
So you were when he goes all three of them together.
Second point is basically that you are showing these are bad women and they deserve this.
But everybody is bad in the film. अच्छा कौन है? रश्मिका
No,
को छोड़ के तो everybody
जिसको
was
ऐसे
like,
पकड़नी होती है चीजें वो पकड़ता है ना.
अच्छा इतना नहीं, उतना नुआंस है ही नहीं फिल्म में जो इतना कुछ हम डिटेल में पकड़े. Like if the writing was that nuanced, that every character is representative of something, then I would have definitely thought in that direction.
See, when Bobby calls all three of them together there, you know, it was little. It had that shock value for sure. But when one of the wives had earlier said na ki I am married because he's good in bed, so then I thought, is he trying to justify this? And because like I had very mixed feelings about that whole.
I think after that it was obviously shown that he forces himself upon them. So it's not that they do it out of choice.
Yeah, because that one of the wives says na ki the other one, she doesn't know how it works. Like
even the third wife, this mentioned that she's already pregnant. That's why, yeah. Then there's also this theory that you showed the villains of the film, you showed them in certain religion, and you're trying to show subtly say something through that also. So there are a lot of opinions out there.
मैं पक गई हूँ ये डिबेट से. Like I'm so done. हर चीज में ये एंगल घुसाने की क्या जरूरत है? Like okay, like chill.
यार इसमें
करना होता है वो करता ही है.
In fact, इसमें रणविजय, who is a Hindu, if अगर बात कर ही रहे हैं तो he kills more people actually than them. तो बुरा तो वो भी है, वो खुद ही यार इंटरवल में आता है बुरा जो वेखण में चला बुरा ना मिल गया कोई, वो बोलता है ना कि वो कबीर का जो दोहा है. So he is supposed to be the worst out of all these animals.
Do you think Ranveer would have killed the pregnant woman if they didn't tell where Bobby is?
I mean, hindsight, but
yes, I think so.
But पूरी फिल्म के अंदर he has never harmed a woman, right? He doesn't slap his wife. He has not. जब brother-in-law को भी मारने जाते हैं तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारे women expats होते हैं. He asks them to close the eyes.
Correct, but then this is the downfall. Like he is becoming more psychopathic. Like as the movies progress.
Is he willing to sleep and cheat his wife for his father? Is he willing to kill
I totally think he would have killed because वो उसके बाद बोलता है ना कि ये किसी की बीवी नहीं है, ये दुश्मन. Like he says that thing ना, क्या dialogue था?
किसी के through मरवा देगा तो I can understand, but वो खुद I think बच्चे और
see for Tripti's character, someone said you cannot end the stream without talking about Tripti. There's a different fan base now for her. No, but he says no, don't treat her like just let her go wherever she wants to.
See, उसको तो मार सकता था आसानी से. Even Rashmika when asks कि उसको तू मार दे, he hesitates.
Yeah.
See,
तो Rashmika को अपना वो prove करने के लिए
but I genuinely feel that he developed like certain emotions for her. वो पापा के लिए but वो फिर भी वो दिखता है कि हाँ he developed some emotion for her.
Tripti.
For Tripti, yes.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
I feel that. I feel that कि नहीं थोड़ा
I think that scene was just too cold for him to just acting.
I don't know.
Then if that's the case, then it breaks the whole character down. Then it's like he's the thing is the point of him being an alpha male that he's so absolute. You cannot have a dilemma with an absolute, right? It breaks the character. So I don't see it as he really did.
So I don't know. Because I was thinking in that way कि okay fine ठीक है पापा के लिए किया as per Ranvijay पापा के लिए किया. But then when Rashmika is confronting him about this, was it good? Did you use a condom? But like all of those things make me realize okay maybe subconsciously he probably has developed some feelings for her
and
or probably like has a soft spot. चलो feelings बहुत ज़्यादा बोल दिया मैंने. Has a soft spot for her.
And actually नहीं यूज किया था बाद में तो फिर वो she throws up as well.
Yeah.
The comedy in the film surprised me the most. Me too. It was way better and funnier than many recent comedy films in the past few years. Again, it was edgy comedy, right?
Yeah, but it really worked. Comedy actually worked.
And it's considered taboo, right? A lot of things they're talking about.
And plus, so just on him developing feelings for Tripti's character, I kind of agree with that because usse pehle interval ke baad, when they are sitting and the doctors asks about their sex life, and they said, "Humne 5 saal se," so things were not as. I just felt कि वो जो peak था शुरू में जब when they get married and everything was so passionate, I think it faded out a little bit with time because he was too occupied with the whole revenge for his father's attack. That his interest in Rashmika and everything, अगर वो उस लेवल पे पीक जो कर रहा था उस पे सस्टेन रहता तो शायद वो चीट ना करता. तो I felt कि she became a little lesser important for him in his life, and the main revenge story was always the main point.
See, the point about him actually fallen for Tripti just breaks, if it's true, it breaks the character for me. Because, as I said, he's just
Breaks
absolutely...
the
I'm not saying like falling in love, but definitely a soft spot.
Like soft corner. But I'm saying that he actually, if it wasn't for the father, he would have still done it or...
Okay, so I'll ask you something. If you don't believe that he had any feelings, so when Rashmika asked kill her, did you see the hesitation on his face?
Clear hesitation.
Yeah, but why would that come? उसमें तो father angle भी नहीं है.
बाकियों को तो मतलब
नहीं, but I think that's he says a dialogue, right? That killing 300 people was wrong for you, but now killing her is fine. Something like this. He says that, or she says that you killed 300 people for your father, but something like that. There's a dialogue.
There is some dialogue, yes.
Some dialogue like this about
so
killing.
all of this kind of suggests that yes, there definitely is like he's not like
maybe they explore it
her.
in part 2. Maybe.
Part 2 तो मैं तो बहुत कुछ है explore करने को, कुछ पता नहीं होगा कि that is another discussion altogether.
People are getting triggered by this movie and saying they are influenced by this. Then why do people are getting influenced by idealistic movies and characters? Huh? वो meme नहीं है? People are justifying the shortcomings of the screenplay by contemplating that the half-baked plot points will be explored in sequel. I don't think the sequel will be made like a clickbait. I don't know.
We are also nearing the runtime of Animal.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap up. One more hour to go though.
नहीं बाबा करो wrap up हो गया.
Even I felt it flubbed.
Second half वैसे भी ज़्यादा लोगों को पसंद नहीं आता. So
Ranbir also stopped smoking because of Tripti. But then he smokes again, right? Later. So.
नाटक कर रहा था वो. हाँ, उस टाइम शुरू में तो of course नाटक ही था वो. But
talking about Rashmika,
she gets jealous also.
Yeah, talking about Rashmika's character, we didn't even talk about it. All these always coming back to sex with her. Was it character building, or do you think it's just cheap? That she's just about sex. Even in the church scene where the anger is taken away when he plugs in the earpods.
No, I mean, he was also with her during the deliveries of the babies. So it's not just sex that's keeping them together.
No, like the sequences between them, a lot of them end up being that.
I mean, Porush has kept reminding us of the 10 minutes. So, maybe that adds some...
उसमें कुछ मिल जाए.
Okay, chalo, parting thoughts, guys.
Parting thoughts is that Sandeep Reddy Vanga, he made an entertaining film. Everything was great except just the writing, the storyline. नहीं, film भी entertaining थी, मैं तो वो बोल ही रही हूँ ना. In terms of just the entertainment value, I was thoroughly enjoying it. But if it comes to writing, that's where the film lacked for me. And I totally, I talk about it, what all could have been done in my review. So do watch it if you can.
Guys, check out all of their channels. It's in the description mentioned.
I think the film... Okay, Porush.
No, go ahead.
The runtime was a breeze, to be very honest. That I'll give it to him. The technical aspects were great. Yes, there were some places where the sound design could have been better. But again, I didn't get what I was expecting from the film.
Yeah.
So I hope sequel agar ban raha hai, to let's see what it gives us.
Okay. Keshav?
I think down the line, the film will be remembered more for Ranbir's performance than what the film offers. Because this was, like a exhibition of, his range, like what all he can do. And I don't think any contemporary comes closer. If you can't think or imagine any other actor, with performing with this much conviction from a teenager to a 60-year-old.
Yeah.
So in that sense, and for me also it was entertaining purely because of his performance and also a good supporting performance throughout. If it were not for these amazing actors, this film would have failed miserably. Because it has so many loopholes, and just because it had such a the idea has so much potential. So just that that lost opportunity is what I will always, this is what I'll take away from the lost opportunity. A great idea with so much potential, but at the end, that aftertaste is not as good as I expected when I went to the theaters.
Yeah.
Just want to give a shout out to Shelly, first of all, for super chat. Then she gave 10 memberships. So everyone who got memberships, thanks to Shelly. And you folks are such troopers still here. Yes, we wanted to justify the time of the movie also. Yeah, I would just end, Sandeep Reddy Vanga is a gifted filmmaker. He proved that. There are a lot of things in the film which are currently controversial. You don't have to agree with it. I don't. But the idea of that it cannot exist because you don't agree with it, I don't agree. Everyone has the right to make films. You censor one, they'll censor the other one also. Just remember that. And you can debate about the film, talk about it. It's good, talk about it. People get to know what's wrong. And it didn't work.
It's good that Animal Park will be there at some point in future, because he will also get to rectify whatever
really?
shot.
Does he think he did wrong? That's the point, right?
I mean, see, right now he might not because of the success and everything, but down the line he will introspect, right?
I'll not be so sure.
See how you said कि अर्जुन रेड्डी के बाद कबीर सिंह जब बनाई तो उसमें I think कुछ गैप था, right? तो I'm sure कि उसके बाद अर्जुन रेड्डी के बाद भी कबीर सिंह के बनाने के बीच में there must have been things that he would have introspected and tried to.
What I know is it was frame to frame same.
Okay.
But some like Arjun Reddy was longer, Kabir Singh was a little shorter. They were deleted scenes. They shot it like the scene I talked about, right? Him talking like a female empowerment scene, which was there in Arjun Reddy, but not in Kabir Singh. So I don't know how much. See, these things he'll change, he'll understand. Again, we are putting our own morality on him, right? That we think he did wrong, maybe he rectifies in the future. He has to think that he did wrong, to rectify it. And
wrong. I'm not saying wrong. I'm just saying कि like how we.
तो loophole है ना story में.
Loopholes तो है, and what I'm saying कि जैसे all of us agreed on the fact that this idea had so much potential to explore other like the nuances which were not touched upon as much. So I'm saying कि to make a well-rounded, that वो एक roundedness की जो हमें कमी लगी as a movie watcher, वो एक अगर वो कमी पूरी हो जाती है तो then Animal Park I would be looking forward to even more.
Okay. For the next two films, Prabhas and Allu Arjun's character might be less on the edge, or Sandeep could surprise us again with Prabhas. Fingers crossed. Hope Allu Arjun plays a deeply grey character. He said he has plans for one more movie with Ranbir, which is going to be more dark. Maybe it is Animal Park.
It is probably this.
Let's see.
Jैसे Vasipur 1 के end में you had a few things left unanswered, right? So 2 में आपको 2 में एक वो that satisfaction is there after you end it all.
Closure.
Yeah, closure. Yeah, that's the word.
So guys, that's it from us. I hope you had a good time. What about you guys? Did you have a good time discussing the film, dissecting it?
Of course.
I hope we
After so long,
justice.
I'm doing like a live, so I'm so very happy.
Same here.
We'll do a lot more, guys. A lot of more is planned for December. We'll reveal it soon. But that's it from us. Thank you. Good night. I hope you had fun. Like, share, subscribe. Check out all their